Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome to Bussin' with the Boys. Before we get started on the number one best sponsor of all time, the ones that really backs the show, presented by Bussin' with the Boys, we had a couple house cleaning items, a couple epic things going on that my boy Willie C is going to talk to you about. It's kind of a big deal. So why don't you sit down, buckle up, and listen to what the boys got to say.
I'm going to tease you a little bit of blue balls.
A little tease, show a little nip.
But the boys have been on the road. If you guys are listening to this episode right now on audio, you've probably been listening to the Nebraska episodes we did. But the boys are in the middle of their spring football tour. We hit Nebraska last week, but we're not going to get into that.
Whoa.
We're going to talk about the Bussin' spring football tour.
Right.
Talk about how you guys need to level up and buy some merch and support the boys.
Yeah, no question.
Downloading, subscribing, all the fun stuff.
Subscribe, unsubscribe, or resubscribe. It's a big deal. And listen, we're doing this right now, right? We're having the rapport back and forth. I'm staring you in your eyes. You're hopefully looking at my eyes, not looking at your phone. Your eyes are up here. I'm really hoping you're listening to the boys. If you like this stuff, keep subscribing, send it to a friend, right? It's like that movie. What's that movie when it's the give back, where you're giving back to people? You help two people, those two people help two people, and so on and so forth.
It's like network marketing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's like a sweet pyramid scheme. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's a nice little deal.
And Tom Brady just retired, so we can dabble in that a little bit. But now, before we get in all that, the boy is going to give you a tremendous ad read on the greatest truck of all time.
That truck happens to be the one and only Chevy Silverado. Chevy Silverado is reliable, it's durable, it's beautiful, and it's got something that nobody else has. I'm gonna have to find my little area here, but it is with Silverado, you get the most functional bed of any competitor. It's best in class standard cargo volume. The inner gate folds to a large step for easily getting in and out of the bed, right? Maybe you're working real hard, you're working that construction piece, or you're just lifting some heavy weights one day, got a little tweak in that little back, and you think, I gotta get this out of my bed, but I don't really want to be a tough guy right now. So you rip that thing down, bing, bang, boom. That thing's like little steps. Now you're just walking up like it's an easy day, right? You're taking your 4-year-old out. You got the multi-flex tailgate that we've been telling you about with 6 configurations. That's 6. Or I don't think anybody else has 6. And there's also the thing, Will, the fob. If you do the fob, that thing comes down, right? And you're everyone, but you're saying, hey, everybody does that. Now with the fob, you can also brings it back up. It's a 2-for-1 special. This thing is so damn beautiful. It puts everything out the window, dude. You really look at this thing and you know to yourself, this person wakes up, gets to work, gets there on time, works their ass off, comes home, probably a hell of a dad or mom.
First in, last out kind of guy.
First in, last out kind of guy. The Chevy Silverado. Silverado, strong, advanced, dependable, and hardworking. We love you.
Can I call timeout?
You're more than welcome to.
Buddy, that was the best I've ever seen you read.
I'm calmer right
I know you kind of like riffed a little bit and stuff like that, but when you were looking at the points, you didn't break stride.
Well, it's an amazing thing when you prepare just a little bit, right? We actually talked about it for 5 seconds other than, kind of just diving in head first, right into a 3-foot pool.
I get nervous all the time. You're like, are we rolling? All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. I'm kind of sitting here a little tense. Like,
I get nervous. Sometimes you walk into the door and there's already magic happening, right? You got David Blaine-esque shit going on. People are pulling rabbits out of hats. And I'm like, let's make sure we get this on the bus.
Yeah.
But you're right. Sometimes a little preparing is good for the old soul.
No, you did good, bro.
I appreciate that. Dude, that means a lot.
Can we, let's start off with this. Can we talk about how you've turned the page
in reading
Nebraska Cornhusker, or maybe just Lincoln in general? Like we had an awesome.
I don't want to go too far into it because it's solely living on YouTube.
Both audio and video.
Oh, now we're doing audio and video.
Yeah, now we're doing both.
At first, I don't know if you guys knew this, a little internal stuff for you. At first, this is just going to live on YouTube.
Correct.
Now, to really put it in our faces, maybe you just go look at the audio for a little bit. You like it so much, you want to watch it twice. Bing, bang, boom. There it is again. How many times am I going to say that? Bing, bang, boom. I don't know.
When we did the Chevy read, instead of saying bing, bang, boom, you hit the truck 3 different times.
Did I?
Yeah, that's a little stupid.
Yeah, dude. Listen, we were out late that night. We were at Barry's. A lot of dicks around us, dude. Trying to give us shotties. Yes, we were at the rail. So I woke up that morning and the word box wasn't working as well as it used to.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we got that done. But to go back to your question, listen, when you think to yourself Nebraska, you think flyover state. I'm saying it. You're probably listening as a Nebraska fan right now. It's just the God honest truth. So I didn't know what to expect when we got to Nebraska. And holy shit, you guys did not disappoint. It is unbelievable. The town's epic. The stadium's beautiful. The facilities are top notch. Truly an amazing university. I've taken back every negative thing I've said about the Cornhuskers. Every negative thing I've said.
And that's huge.
It's a big deal.
Because you're a competitive motherfucker. Like,
I'm a competitive cat. I'm a competitive cat.
Whether or not you believe it or not, you'll die on a hill. It's like, all right, I'm digging my heels on the ground. I'm not giving this up.
I usually just stick in there. And no matter what, dude, no matter what. Such an American move. Such an American guy move. Am I right? But we went to Nebraska and I kind of mentioned Barry's, the rail. If you're a Nebraska fan, you've been to Nebraska, you're like, oh yeah, I've been there before. People were unbelievable.
Dude.
Unbelievable.
Hey, different.
It really was. People were nice to us. The equipment guys here. I was hoping when we got to Nebraska that maybe they hooked the boy up with a jersey, a little 77 with Lawan on the back. And they fucking did, dude. I didn't even ask. And they gave it to me. That was the turning point for my day. I did have a bit of a fucking issue with my breakfast the first morning. The fact that you took me to Village Inn made me want to end this fucking relationship real quick. And maybe absolutely want to stab you and leave, dude. Assault and go.
How much did we laugh?
We're keeping it, dude.
How much did we laugh?
The best fest we've ever had in our entire lives.
Yeah. As far as Taylor and I's relationship, that was the hardest we've ever laughed in our life, as a duo together.
In our life. We were the youngest people in there by 76 years. It was unbelievable. I feel like everyone had 3 digits in their life. Yeah, give that thing a toss, dude. Look at this. By the way, hey, big clap for Bloss.
Nice.
What an amazing throw. Holy shit, dude. That was incredible. Guy should have gone pro, but look at this thing. Now, I know this is coming out and
That's a heavy duty jersey. That's a high quality fucking jersey.
In August, September, you're like, this thing hurts a little bit. But that's a legit Nebraska Cornhusker jersey with my name on the back. Now, we're going to Michigan this week. I'm not going to tell him that. Hopefully this clip will make it to him. Maybe you guys can tag Mich football in there because I don't want to go actually ask. I'm praying to God they treat us as good as Nebraska did. It was that beautiful to me.
Within the first 2 hours of being sitting, you're like, hey guys, I hope you might not be hyping up Michigan too much. It might not be like
this. Yeah, hey, listen, I was putting insurance policies in the back pocket. It was incredible, dude. I had an amazing time. Michigan is an amazing spot. I got treated great when I was there, but when you leave, maybe the magic's not there for me anymore. I'm really hoping I'm put wrong. I'm really hoping at the end of the day, we come in and they just blow our socks off. Dude, I hope we come home missing socks. That's how bad I want them to fucking do it with us.
Hopefully I get a jersey, like a 51 jersey.
That's okay. So that's what I was trying to get to. Sorry, you know how the boy likes to ramble. Yeah. But I really hope they come out there with a Compton 51 or 53 or 57.
57. Oh, yeah. That's what I was this year.
I follow your career.
Yeah.
I follow you. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of you.
Yeah, 57.
Huge fan. But without further ado, right? We have Erika on this week.
Well,
we should probably talk about her.
Well, for sure. We'll get into her. But one last thing.
Jumping the gun.
You're right. Jumping the gun.
I'm an excited boy.
It's all good. But the biggest thing we want to get accomplished in Michigan would be that battle for the bus question you asked.
Dude.
Scott Frost, which you guys have already listened.
You know what I'm saying? Stick me right in the asshole, dude. That's exactly what I want.
Taylor did a high IQ, high savvy, high awareness situation when we were interviewing Scott Frost.
It was really an all-time moment.
I was sitting there thinking, I got to deliver a little bit for the Nebraska fans. Like, they want to hear Will ask a couple harder questions, questions that he's been asked and dabbled around, but say some real shit.
And to be fair, you did.
Thanks, bro.
You did an amazing job doing that.
But
I was kind of scared for you when you did that, actually.
A little nervous?
Yeah, I was like, damn. You gonna ask him that?
Right. But you guys can go listen to that. Subscribe to it, too.
Yeah, subscribe, listen, 5 stars,
Taylor,
the whole thing.
Again, high awareness, asked him, would you put together, if we put together a bus trophy where it's the bus, we got the steer horns on it, a big one, and every year Michigan and Nebraska play, we call it the battle for the bus. And phenomenal. Scott sits up in his chair and he's like, what did he say about the AD?
He said if the AD at Michigan and the head coach at Michigan are good with it. Which, by the way, Michigan, maybe take that as disrespect. He knows exactly who your head coach is, right?
Yeah, he gave him a lot of props.
He did him a props.
Coach, you might not be able to.
Yeah. They got to go watch it on YouTube and audio. But I love how you kind of did that just now.
Yeah, tease and cliffhanger.
Right? You pulled that thing out for a second. And they kind of missed it.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely. If the battle of the bus, he said, if the AD and the head coach of Michigan signs off on it, they have no problem doing a trophy game between Nebraska and Michigan.
They're in, dude.
That would be the coolest shit that's ever happened to us in our life.
Yes, that would be iconic. Dude. Battle for the bus game. It's the battle for the bus, and then they're hoisting up,
stoked on it.
Remember, there's trophies out there for anything. What was the Minnesota one? Some bucket one?
Yeah, it's the brown jug. Please don't disrespect.
Sorry, the brown jug. Who's that between?
It's between Minnesota and Michigan.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't know Michigan was involved. That's
No,
my
you're
fault.
cool.
Oh,
You're
and then
cool.
Buckle is brown jug, don't they?
You're cool. You're cool.
You find a brown jug, like something over Battle of the Bus. I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, there's actually a bar at Michigan, Ann Arbor. Shout out the Brown Jug. Great place. You used to get pictures of B-wall shots and just take those to the head, and then sing Blink-182 songs on a Sunday night. You're gonna have a great time there. I think you're really gonna enjoy it. I think you're really gonna have a great time.
Maybe where we put
That's a good kind of a metro deal right there. I mean,
little
stick my hand out like that.
Spectrum. We learned that.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm not afraid of myself.
No, I think that's a smart move. And if there's a brown jug in Michigan, who doesn't think that there could be like a bus stop in Nebraska?
Or a bus stop, or both.
Both.
Yeah, it got to be both. The battle of the bus, dude.
All right, let's talk about Erika a little bit because we had on the CEO of Barstool Sports.
Yes.
A little more of a business sit down. Like we got a CEO on, we're picking her brain. She's kind of asking us questions. I think a couple of times Taylor and I are sitting there like, we're around that dude at Barstool.
That dudette.
Yeah, that dudette who beat out over 70 dudes to get that job at Barstool, who has to deal with and handle and work with Dave Portnoy on a weekly basis, who has to deal with all the hodgepodge, melting pot of all different beings that is in Barstool Sports and handle all the misogyny, all this, that, the other, the Barstool Bros. Well, we learned that the Barstool Bros or Stoolies or
bro culture. Yeah, which I didn't know that was a bad thing, but apparently they'll get you canceled. That's a tough deal. I just saw the statistics on our 96% male.
Yeah, we're
like, right up that alley, buddy. We're about to get canceled with the bro culture.
Yeah, people say bro culture like it's not everybody. A lot of people love it, but people say bro culture like it's like a negative thing, right? Mm. To me, if you're a bro, like you're one of the boys, right? We're all about the fucking.
You're one of the boys, but I think it's like people like, listen, might throw a little wrench in this thing, but people are pretty specific about what genders are. I'm like more of a generic guy. When I say for the boys, there's really not a penis on that thing. It goes on both sides.
As long as you're for them.
Yeah, you're for them. It's like a generic, what's up, dude? Like you said to a man and a woman, for the boys. Yeah.
It's like we're just dumb jocks. We were yelling for the boys on our football team one day. Now we're sitting on the bus having a podcast, but for the boys means for everybody.
We're for everyone, dude.
If you're for them, you're with us.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the for them or against them.
For them or against us.
Yeah.
We're for them or against us. One thing too that you'll notice about Erika, I'm not going to tell what she said, but Bloss brought up a really good question. And then she kind of put the question back on Bloss. I thought that was epic. If you guys see it, comment, let us know that you noticed that big business savvy move that Erika put on us.
Super CEO
Tag
move.
us. Tag us in that thing. Because if you find that little nugget, you might be on your way to becoming a CEO.
And speaking of the engagement, we're gonna be dealing it a little bit more. The stuff you saw with Taylor and I in Nebraska having a little fun on social media. You guys are fucking hilarious when you guys clap back.
The chirps are unbelievable, dude.
And play into the chirp. People who bring the negative energy, those are always going to be there and tell me. We'll always ask them to do a favor.
I just get so excited, dude, about my New Jersey.
Something like I needed to remember something.
No,
we'll always ask those negative Nancys to do a favor for us.
Yeah,
and we'll also let you guys put them in their place as well. But the engagement, the fun that we're having, you guys are fucking hilarious. We have Budweiser C&D on there. What's the?
Oh, you don't remember that Budweiser? Budweiser, this beautiful company. Anheuser-Busch. First off, I want to say shout out to Anheuser-Busch. What an outstanding.
No free shout outs.
No free shout outs, but shout out to, you know what? But it's tough, right? Because
it's C&D.
I'm also individually sponsored by Anheuser-Busch.
Weird
so it's difficult for me to kind of sit here and play the back and forth, right? I'm not trying to be that guy, but here we are, right? A national beer brand want to say put their name behind the boy.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just carrying the cart for both of us now. Now listen, Anheuser-Busch, we love you to death. We love everything you do. Seriously, you guys are in your ivory tower. We love you to death, and we're looking up at you just hoping for a piece of granola. You know what I'm saying? We want to throw us a half live turkey leg down. That's all we really want. And we started putting the bus letter out. The bus went to boys. You guys were cool with it first because of in the original sponsorships we had.
Little boys doing a podcast. Like, let them do it.
We're just cute little guys doing a pod. But in the original, like when we first started doing it, the local Anheuser-Busch let us.
They sponsored us.
They sponsored us and they let us do it.
Yeah.
They said that's okay. Now I get it. Business is business. We're booming right now. Don't want to take one from the legendary AD, but AB.
Yeah, the legendary
business is booming right now, and I understand that you guys might want a little piece of that. We would love to have you guys as sponsors. Would love it. I might be sitting here, put my sword down right in front of you. Shoot if you want, baby, but I'm here with love. Just love. That's all I want to give you right now. So yes, they sent us a C&D. They sent us a C&D.
The boys need a beer brand on board.
We really do.
And obviously that one makes total sense.
It does.
Oh, yeah. We talk about the C&D. There we go. There's the layup. We're going off our own stories like just riffing.
Hey, that's what you're here for, Alex. Good job.
We talk about Taylor tells an amazing. Hey, that's the best part of the episode. Guys.
Yeah, because it makes no fucking sense, dude.
Hey, when Tayller does his pitch for the beer brand. Yeah, you guys will hear it. You guys will know because I'm insecure. When he goes on his 5-minute long elevator pitch, fucking comment, have fun with it.
I know, dude.
That was all time. Just know I'm sitting there like, oh shit, where is this going exactly?
I didn't know either. I was trying to land that plane anywhere.
What was like, here? If you guys are, yeah, you're right. We'll let them do it.
They'll hear it, dude.
I like that.
They'll hear it.
But also, good news on that is people are talking now. So if Budweiser or Anheuser-Busch is watching, there are some conversations happening. We hope it works out for the best. We hope it plays out.
Yeah.
We hope it does good.
Like if it doesn't, that's fine. But at the same time, would love to have you, right? Swords down. It's not even in the holster. I put it on the ground. It's pretty disrespectful to my sword.
Yeah.
But that's life. Bam, 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 bam.
Let's get into it though. Subscribe. Again, guys, we can't tell you how important it is. We just caught wind. We had a meeting. We had an internal meeting with the boys at Barstool. And we just heard that 70-something% of our audience isn't even subscribed to us.
That's crazy, by the way.
We got a lot of listeners. I got a lot of people who tune in. You guys might be sitting there, oh shit, I haven't done the easy 5-second thing to touch my thumb to the screen to subscribe.
Right.
All you got to do is subscribe to the boys. And if you're already subscribed, especially on audio, unsubscribe and resubscribe again. Yeah. That helps the boys out tremendously. And again, 70-something% of our audience is not subscribed to the boys. Let's start to narrow that gap and let's do this together because we love you and we're all working together.
Yeah. Daddies have been working real hard, right, to put ourselves through medical school. We're on that pole on a daily basis. We've been working our ass off. Why don't you throw us a couple dollars by just subscribing and resubscribing, right? Subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe. And it sounds like a stupid deal, but if you just do that once, guess what? Through the roof.
Up the charge.
That's all we want.
Yes.
Right?
Without further ado.
We don't need to be real cool.
Yep.
We can be fake cool. That's fine with us. That's fucking fine with us, homie.
We'll be fake fucking cool.
Oh, no doubt.
I'm sure there'll be an ad that drops first, and then we will get into the episode of Erika Nardini, the CEO of Barstool Sports.
Let me tell you, boys, it's time for that first ad with Roman. Look, there's no one's perfect. Even the best baseball players strike out with the bases loaded. The best golfers sometimes 3-putt with the tournament on the line. So if you feel like you come up a little short in the bedroom sometimes, it's perfectly okay. But if it's bothering you, let me tell you a couple of things, boys. There's options. Go to getroman.com/bussinboys now. With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for ED, all from the comfort and privacy of your home. A U.S. licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, it ships to you free with 2-day shipping. The whole process is straightforward, discreet. Getting started is simple. Just go to getroman.com/bussin and complete an online visit. Take care of your ED without leaving home. Complete an online visit today and connect with a doctor and take care of it. Hey, listen, that was the best your boys ever fucking done, dude. So if you don't go to Roman because of that, that's unbelievable. There's a straightforward way to take care of your ED. Getroman.com/bussinboys. They're going to take care of you. A lot of people have issues, right? Your boy, there was one time in college, I'll be honest with you, it was a bit of a situation, right? I looked at her and I said, look, the wheels aren't turned the right way today. So if I had Roman back then, maybe your boy would have took it. It just is what it is, my dude. I had a buddy from high school. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to call him out. I'm not going to say his name, but that piece wasn't working since like 17 years old. Not going to say names, but it's a bit of a deal. You could use Roman. Getroman.com/bussinboys. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Taylor has the Pat McAfee crazy stare. Do you know what I mean? Where you're like, what the fuck is going on in that
Just
brain?
put a line,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I was like,
that Pat McAfee crazy
about
stare.
30 seconds.
Because you know he's thinking the entire time.
100%.
Once you'll sit there and talk to him.
Like, this is going to come out in like 8 months.
Yeah. Once you sit there and talk to him, his eyes will like go to the left a little bit, and you know he's got a whole. He's done kind of listening to you, but he's thinking about what he's about to say.
I like that. Okay, I like that.
Well, that's cool. I didn't know that about myself. It's kind of fun to learn something new.
You think you're intimidating?
I think from a physical stature standpoint, absolutely. But then I open my mouth and I sound like I'm 6. So it's like, it kind of changes that whole process. Then people play this like limbo. It's kind of like doing one of these, like, but come on. And you're like, I don't know what to do with this guy.
My brain's at a pretzel.
There is I think there's a moment of like, missing link, but he's also like a gentle soul kind of. And then I can get mad randomly.
I think that's it. But I bet you have a very long fuse.
Yes and no. It really depends.
Okay.
It really depends. Look at it.
You have a shot.
I'm just listening.
I think it really depends on the fuse, like what the category is.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Like in the age of 2022, like if the word triggered, like there are a couple things that'll snap the boy off fast.
Like what?
I don't know if I want to say out loud. I don't even know if I
What show
really
is this?
anything that has to do with like money. If someone starts
makes you
talking about
crazy.
money, I get tense fast.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
kind of-
He's got a
definitely
weird
one thing.
deal that people are always trying to take from him.
Yeah, because I grew up.
I totally get. I
yeah.
grew up. I get that.
I grew up not financially secure.
Same. Yeah.
And so since I am now financially secure,
Yeah, you're
one of
like,
my
everybody's
biggest
trying to
worries is
fuck me.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
if anybody tries to take this,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to kill somebody.
It's mine. I'll
Right.
break your neck.
No doubt. No doubt about
Were you
it.
a gentle kid or no?
For the most part, and then I hit the puberty years.
Yeah.
And I definitely got more aggressive. Like I had some issues with the law a little bit.
Oh, you did?
With, yeah,
With,
with,
with
actually
old
remember that.
iPods.
yeah, I had a assault, theft, battery, and robbery
Oh,
in
okay,
one
that's
case,
great.
and then there was a whole there was a phase
You
about
really
5
checked all
years
the
of my life.
boxes?
Yeah, I hit them all but murder and Grand Theft Auto.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so I made it past that. That was a fun phase, I guess. But yeah, I think as I just get older, and I have kids now too,
Yeah.
so it's like I ain't fighting nobody for no
You're
reason.
like an iron marshmallow.
An iron marshmallow. I'll take that. I honestly doesn't even sound like a bad thing to me.
It
It
is.
doesn't
I
sound like
think
a
it's
bad
great
thing.
No, it really doesn't.
Kind of safe. You know what I mean? Kind of
I do.
nice.
Yeah, it does. Like you feel kind of protected, but at the same time, you can have a
There's a heart in
conversation.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a heart in there for
Like
sure.
you're dangerous, but you can you're reeling it in now.
Yeah. What about you? Because you're like a CEO of a big time company. I'm sure there's a lot of
I'm like a marshmallow
intimidation.
that only has iron inside.
Got you.
I'm the opposite.
So you're soft, and then
I seem like real soft and friendly. And
then all of a
like-
sudden,
Right.
do you agree with that?
You have
or
the
no?
ability. Oh, absolutely. I would agree with that. I mean, you're the CEO of Barstool. You beat it.
yeah, you
You
gotta
got
be, you
that
gotta get a
over-
little sideways sometimes for
You have
sure.
to
Working
get
at
sideways.
Barstool.
Yeah.
You beat out how many people? Like 80 dudes?
Yeah, white dude. So
80 white dudes, which obviously, Barstool's known for
yeah,
misogyny
supporting bros.
and dudes.
That's
And
gonna be my new brand.
That's kind of our thing too. The whole misogyny thing.
yeah.
Like you're like the
I
second
have-
woman to ever be on
Yeah,
this
thank
bus.
God.
I
we
know.
needed
That's
this.
true for actually
Yeah.
all of our.
This
I'm
is
like the
huge.
diversity queen.
Yeah. We're checking a box today.
Thanks, I hear you. It's
You gotta get a
National
black
Women's
guy on
Day,
next.
just
It's
so
a
you
big
know.
deal. We have a
Yeah,
whole
bro.
bunch of things.
When I was in Vegas, I was in the hot tub. I forget who it was. I want to say it was Teamer. Last name Teamer. Shout out Teamer. He's like, but he said, you need to have more black people on the bus.
Okay.
I was like, bro, we got dudes on all the time. And I start rattling guys off. He's like, yeah, but recently I'm just like, I mean, we got to get people to Nashville. It's not like we're not trying to have.
Yeah, we'll have
It's not like
anybody.
we're trying to have.
Right.
Yeah, you'll
certain
talk to
people
anyone
on.
that'll come here. I got you.
Most
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah. Well, are you
Yeah.
discerning?
No, we'll talk to it. I was gonna play with that for a little bit, but I'm like, yeah, this
No,
is
I
also
won't.
gonna be recorded, so I probably don't want to play that game right now. Comes out in 20 years.
Okay, so how much did you buy the bus for?
This bus was $2,000 cash.
Okay.
Came with all the stickers, and if you see like there's little purple at the top, those were pretty racist.
Offensive stickers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would say like past offensive,
pros-
just strictly racist.
Oh, just straight up
Yeah.
racist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They were
Let's skip all the
got
middle
pretty
ground.
aggressive, pretty fast.
Huh.
So we put about 8 into it to do a little soundproofing.
Who owned it?
Some guy. We were at this place called Wedgwood, Houston, just off Wedgwood, and in the back of this warehouse, there was like this bus, and we didn't know about it. We were working with this different production company, and they're like, "Hey, like we're kind of going through ideas, like what are we gonna do for a podcast? What's the deal?" And so these guys
peas
brought
in a
up the
pod.
bus. Yeah, 2 peas. How terrible of a name is that?
was-
Two boys in a bus. It was off the 2 piece in a pod, but it was
Yeah.
two
Was
boys
that
in a
your
bus.
idea? That sounds like your
I don't know. I think it was Taylor's.
No, definitely
You know
not.
my- hang on. You know what my idea was.
Yeah,
What's your
well,
idea?
There, I
You
wasn't
wanted to
ever
call it
trying
the
to
den.
do
You wanted to call it the Den. I'm like, buddy,
The
what are we
podcast
doing?
for wolves? You
What are
know.
we? What are we?
okay.
David Goggins and Joe Rogan? That's not who we are.
Yeah, okay.
But
Yeah.
Taylor came up with the 2 boys in a bus, and some gal in Chicago mentioned bus with the boys.
one bus. Yeah, it was a play on 2 girls, 1 cup, not 2 peas in a
Yeah.
pod.
I wouldn't even think of 2 peas in a pod without you saying it.
That's untrue. You grew up in Missouri and you went to Nebraska.
Yeah,
It's
but
like right
again,
up your alley.
establishing the I wanted the den, and
Uh-huh.
I'd never really deviated until we found like talking about doing the For the Boys thing.
You should make a bar here called the Den.
We've actually talked about making a bar
Love
called
to.
the Bus Stop.
Yeah,
That'd be amazing. You should
Yeah.
100% do that. You know we're opening a bar here, right? Do you know that?
yeah. I feel like sometimes you guys might keep stuff under the wraps
Oh. Well, I'll
and
tell
not
you
let the
about
boys
it.
know.
Oh, I'll tell the boys.
Yeah, we're
Why
ready to
don't
hear.
You guys should be like a huge part of it. We should make like a whole your section in the middle of it.
Now, anything
I
you say on this
agree.
podcast is contractually binding. So go ahead.
I'm in.
Yeah.
When is that opening?
It should open. I want to say August.
Is that why Dave was wanting to come to Nashville for a little bit?
I don't know. He doesn't understand how cold it is here.
Yeah,
What?
because
Yeah, when he said he was
with
coming
this
at that time,
weather.
I thought that was ridiculous.
I was
I
one of
was
that
in the middle
too.
of a snowstorm. I was like, that's not going to go.
Yeah, and he was on his pod talking about like seasonal depression and stuff. I'm thinking like, bro, you ain't coming to Nashville and getting some sun.
It's a great gambling state for us.
Yeah, because you guys just opened up when
Yeah.
in Tennessee?
Like a month ago.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the idea. Because you guys are looking
That'd be
down
amazing.
around.
So I was looking at it yesterday, and Nashville is all like when you look at downtown Nashville, it's like the Jason Aldean, Eric Church, like everybody's got a bar. You guys should have a bar.
The boys.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's like a revolving door of bars. What they do here is
Is it?
like they kind of pick and they lease something out for like 2 years, and it'll be like Jason Aldean's bar, and then in a couple of years from that, it'll be
Oh,
Kane
interesting.
Brown's bar.
Because
So
it didn't work, or it just worked.
no,
that way?
everything on Broadway is going to work.
Okay.
If you have a property on Broadway, there's going to be so much foot traffic. There's
Yeah.
no way you're not going to make money. I think it's just like trying to keep up with times, and so like
Okay.
they're in this phase of
Okay,
like
so Eric Church is hot right now, so
Yeah.
he's gonna have the bar.
right. Eric
Okay.
Church is probably. I mean, he's got to be top 5 contemporary artists right now.
Oh,
Jason
yeah.
Aldean made a big chunk in like the 10s. I think they're kind of playing to like our age group right now.
What's hot?
Yeah.
Because they got FGL House too, right?
FGL House is right around the corner.
Yeah, that's
Miranda
right, that's right,
Lambert's is right in the
exactly.
corner.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I think that's kind of what they do. And then in a couple of years that'll change. Like Old Red is a song of whose? Blake Shelton's. Yeah.
Oh,
Is
are you
it?
guys pro Blake Shelton? Do you
I didn't
hear
know there
about-
were sides to pick.
Yeah. What's the
Well, he
issue?
broke up with Miranda Lambert. Now he's with Gwen.
Well, yeah. So here's the deal with that. I actually think all's fair in love and war, right?
Okay.
So he cheated or she cheated? Because I
Well, they
thought,
weren't meant to be.
what's that?
They just weren't meant to be.
Yeah, I know, but Miranda Lambert came with an album right after they broke up,
Mm.
basically insinuating that she was cheating. Now, I don't know if
Okay.
that's true or not.
Okay. Okay.
And then Blake Shelton came out with a bunch of songs about how his heart was broken, blah, blah, blah. And I think, I mean, if I'm going to pick sides,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to pick Miranda Lambert's side. That chick is a badass.
She is a badass. I actually love
She
Miranda
is
Lambert.
my favorite women country singer for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about it.
But Blake Shelton's way more famous.
And very tall.
Very tall, handsome guy.
Very.
Good looking
Bubbly.
Great
Yeah, he's
hair.
got a
Great
bubbly
looking cat.
personality.
Yep.
He's got a thick head of hair. It's really all you need when you get to that age.
Yeah,
It's kind of what
right?
you want.
Yeah.
You can keep
Yeah.
your hair. You're good.
Yeah.
And have height.
I agree. I get
mean,
in that
height's tough to not
situation where I
keep,
feel
right?
like
Yeah.
I'm losing it a little bit.
What's that?
The hair. She's like, if you can keep your hair, you're good.
Yeah, she looked right at you too. Like
I
I guess
know,
she
she
knew.
knows.
But why don't you just use Rogaine?
I don't know. I feel like
You shouldn't, because you're like in the baby age. Don't do that. Then you're
right.
not,
I feel like I
fucking-
want to do
What
something.
happens with
that's
Rogaine
gonna-
that's like not okay to use?
It's not great if you're trying to have a baby.
Oh,
Really?
that's
Well,
already
there we
done
go.
though.
Yeah. So now
Yeah,
it's
but we're gonna have more.
You're both getting kind of old. You should
Yeah,
probably
but,
think about that.
yeah, but that's back in the long game, bro. That's back in like Bible days when you need to have it. You need to have kids early. People are having kids all the time now at later dates.
Are they?
Yeah, people are living longer, finding out new stuff.
You know, Taylon's dad, my wife, her
Mhm.
father, has a kid who's 3 months younger than my oldest child.
no way.
Yes. It was a bit of a deal for sure.
So there's a point.
Yeah, so
What
I'm actually
number
playing
wife?
into your argument. My wife,
No.
her
what-
dad,
Yeah, and
his wife.
not his first wife.
Yeah,
No.
how old was she?
I think she's like in her mid 30s, close to 40.
Well, then
She's younger than your wife?
She already has 2 kids. No, my wife is 28.
Oh, okay.
She she has 2 kids. Wait, the wife of
The dad.
Taylon's dad has 2 kids or 3 kids, now 3 kids. And then we got pregnant, and then she got pregnant like 3 months after we got pregnant.
Does that tick your wife off, or is she cool with
I
it?
don't think so. I mean, it's kind of like this philosophy on this bus: do what you want.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? If
Yep.
you want to have another
do
kid, if
you.
that's where you're at in your
Yeah,
relationship,
you do you.
then go do your thing.
Yep. Do your kids
Yeah.
all play together?
We haven't been up to Canada in like 4 years.
Okay.
Because like the COVID stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then there's a passport deal last year. Anyway,
Yep.
we're going up this summer though.
Okay.
It'll be
That's great.
outstanding. Play a little hockey.
Because you guys
Big
almost got
hockey
caught
guy?
over there.
Not a big hockey guy. When you're up there, you kind of got to
Yeah,
pretend to
play.
play hockey.
Yeah, 100%.
like, oh yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
But
Your
it's
center,
like
center
it's
of
like
gravity
the
must
sport.
be tough on the ice.
I
You're
tell you
either
what.
a beast or terrible. Which is it?
I would edge on the side of being terrible right
Okay.
now, but I feel like if you give me a couple months,
Yeah, you could be a beast.
oh no question about it.
100%.
I don't doubt that. I used to play when I was younger.
Okay, so you know how to skate.
Used to. It's not like riding a bike.
You don't think? I think it kind of
No, I got on the skates about
It's
5
shaky,
years ago.
nerve-wracking because your center
I
of
was
gravity
ankle
is-
bending.
yeah.
My insteps were basically touching the
Ryan Whitney.
yeah, it was tough. I was holding the corners. But you play a lot of hockey, yeah?
I used to, yeah.
That's your sport.
Yeah, I do
How'd
like
you get into that?
I just was bored. I wanted a new sport. I like hockey. I think it's a great sport. I think it's a very
Yeah.
violent sport. It's
Yeah.
aggressive.
You've done a
and
lot. You've
fast.
done a lot for women's hockey.
I've tried.
What progress do you feel like you've made in that whole thing? Because it's
None.
not something I followed very closely outside of outside of a lot of the social media stuff that I see. But it seems like you've done a lot of stuff for women's
hockey. Is really insular. Like it's actually kind of interesting. It's a sport that's driven in large part by Canadians. Canadians, by their nature, are more It's just conservative. It's tight. Hockey's tight. So there's still not a women's league. I don't think there's been like a huge amount of progress. The problem is that to make women's sports interesting, you have to market it like men's sports. Like there has to be violence, there has to be drama, there have to be characters, people have to have beef with one another. Like there has to be a storyline that people are interested in, and people tend to market female athletes as being perfect. So it's like everybody's great for, it's the perfection is almost uninteresting. I think anyways.
Yeah, no one's going to watch a sitcom on perfection. Everything always goes right. Nothing is wrong. You want
to see the hot mess and the disaster. And it's like, who's the Dennis Rodman of women's hockey?
Yeah.
If you have a Dennis Rodman, then you want to watch, right?
Yeah, that would be interesting to see a woman Dennis Rodman. But how do you, so what's the end goal? Is that women's sports get paid the same amount as men's sports?
Well, I think everybody says that. Like
that's like the goal. That's where all like into like feminists.
Is the goal.
Yeah.
But you have to. What is it? So back it up. Like, what does it take to get paid like men? Like, how many people watch a Titans game? Right, which drives the whole economics of how you guys get paid, how the coaches get paid, how the teams get paid, how the owners make money. Unless people are watching women's sports, the money's never going to flow. And it's not just going to be women watching women's sports. You have to make women's sports appeal to men.
Why do you think people have such a hard time understanding that?
I think that
understanding what? That you can't just pay.
Yeah, people.
You can't just pay both sides equally.
Right. People will cry out, we need equal this, or men get paid this and that and the other. But you zoom out a little bit, I feel like it's not that hard of a concept to understand.
It's definitely not a hard concept. But then there's also, there is injustice in it. Like you look at in the U.S., women's soccer versus men's soccer. Like, who gives a shit about men's soccer in the U.S.? Women's soccer is pretty amazing. Do you guys? Oh, come on.
He's a big soccer guy.
Team here, I feel like. Okay.
Nashville SC.
Nashville, yeah.
Shout out the boys.
All right. Do you watch religiously? Are you like a Premier League guy?
Hey, if you're gonna talk, use your mic.
Okay, how much did that cost?
$4,000.
That's a lot of money.
I thought so. But worth it for the boys.
Did you pay for it yourself?
I did.
Did you go to every game?
No, God no.
Why? Because there's too many?
Because they play from like February to November. It's crazy.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
It's a long season. I didn't realize it.
That is one of the positives about playing football.
Yeah, it's tight.
It's 6 months on, 6 months off. Essentially. And baseball, you have 3 months. That hockey's similar that way too. It's just like, God.
How much is a season ticket? How much does it cost to be a season ticket holder of the Titans, do you think?
I don't know.
I have absolutely no idea.
You would, what?
Like $100,000?
No, because to have a box for the season is like $120.
Okay.
So if you have a box but the thing is, if you get a box at Nissan Stadium, you have first right refusal to any other tickets. Like if a Jason Aldean or a Miranda Lambert or anybody that comes and plays there, you can go and sit there and watch that or whatever. Super Slam WWE that's coming in July. If you want to go see that,
oh, that's cool.
You have first right.
You guys WWE guys?
No, I wish I was though.
Back in the day,
it's not hard to get into it.
The Stone Cold days and everything else. I feel like it's
Attitude Era.
I feel like it's just different now.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plays into more of like a superhero characters.
Yeah. It's safer than it used to be.
Right.
I feel like getting into it at 30 years old would be tough knowing it's fake. Like I feel like 100%. The time to get inceptioned
I hear
was when I was 6 or younger.
When you were doing Santa.
Yeah.
Got you.
Well, still am in a way. There's still a piece of hope with Santa.
There's a word for there's a word for this. There's a word for there's a word for when you know something isn't true, but you still believe in it anyways. Like for Santa, life. WWE. Yeah, life.
Yeah, maybe life could be
the bus.
In a general, thing. WWE though, McAfee's crushing WWE. He's really just doing everything right now.
Yeah, he is.
And I don't know if you can talk about it too much. Obviously, anything you don't want to talk about, we won't. But like, what was that process like with McAfee? Was he
leaving us?
No. Yeah. Like coming to the Barstool.
Yeah.
Well, like
McAfee's awesome. It's so funny. I had a call with Twitch yesterday, and the Twitch people are like, you may be aware of Pat McAfee. And I was like,
yeah.
But McAfee was just, and McAfee was like you guys. He's just a huge talent. Like his personality was so big on the field. He was so great at Twitter. He just was. And then I don't know if you've ever seen him in person at a live show. Like his energy is electric. Like he brings it in a way that very few people do. Really different than a Dave or a Big Cat. Like he projects so much and so well. So he was a big get for us. I mean, he was one of the first athletes that outside of Whitney, but he was one of the first athletes we had brought on.
Mm-hmm.
He was making the transition from, obviously playing to, his media life. I think he learned a lot. We taught him a lot.
Yeah, Dave taught him how to bet,
Ton.
right? That was a whole thing for a while.
Completely.
Even in business too.
Business, betting, distribution, we built him an office. We hired, we built him a whole world, which, was a really good, we learned a lot. He learned a lot.
Mm-hmm. But when he started doing you guys teaching him a bunch of business stuff, was he like super eager to learn that stuff? Was he like, teach me?
Aggressive. Yep.
Yeah. Very aggressive about it.
Yep.
And looking back on it, if you look at it in hindsight, it's everything where you're like, okay, his whole plan was to do his own thing.
Definitely.
The whole time.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
And does that make you feel sour at all?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it was mutually beneficial for, could it have gone on longer?
Yeah.
Yes. Would I have had him leave differently? Definitely. But did he learn a lot? Did we learn a lot? Did we get a lot of value? He got a lot of value, 100%.
Right.
And I'm so happy for him. Like, I truly think he's crushing it.
Yeah. Well, that FanDuel contract he signed was unbelievable. But I saw a thing that Dave was talking about that there was at one point FanDuel could have had Barstool and Pat McAfee for around similar numbers.
Correct.
Which is wild.
Which is insane. I mean,
Yeah.
Dave and I had talked to FanDuel about $150 million price tag for Barstool, which in hindsight is crazy.
Yeah.
/ dumb, but
Well, it's all dumb.
yeah.
Like
it's all dumb.
this whole
And it's
concept
also
that
yeah.
you guys are doing, that we're doing, we talk about all the time how incredible it is that people just want to listen to us.
But it's the future. I think it's so interesting. Like, yeah, it's so crazy stupid, but then you look at traditional media and you're like, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Like,
Why is
you
that?
watch
No doubt.
television
I
anymore?
100% agree with that.
I stream like YouTube TV or apps like Netflix and
What do you
stuff.
watch? You watch sports?
It's mainly for sports.
Yeah.
Mainly for sports. And if not, it's usually like background noise. So like, 2.5
News?
Men.
Oh, okay.
No, not news.
Seinfeld.
Never. My news is on Twitter.
Okay.
But 2.5 Men, Family
Okay,
Guy.
like a comedy guy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If I'm playing it as
That's very
background noise.
Midwestern, I think.
Yeah. But
Is Missouri Midwest?
yeah.
I think Missouri's
Is it?
definitely.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. It's kind of like in the middle. It might just be the mid.
Well, some people like to play until you like to be Southern and they'll fake their
Yeah,
accents.
you're
a
kind of
little
in the
bit
middle
more.
there, aren't you?
Yeah. You
I mean,
can kind
yeah.
of pick your own personality.
Right.
Do you
Right.
love Missouri?
Yeah, of course. It's where I grew up.
You're gonna go back?
To live? No.
Yeah.
I don't love it like that. I think I just appreciate where I grew up.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
You grow up in a small town. I go back and you look at it and you're like, I can't believe I fucking.
Yeah.
I'm at where I'm at now, growing up from
Yeah.
here.
Yep.
But I
Goddamn.
think
Half of our audience right now is like, fuck this guy.
there's like there's like
Just kidding.
3,000 people in Bonne Terre. But yeah, I love Missouri in a way that I appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like just my upbringing and everything
Mhm.
else.
Don't you guys think you're similar to the McAfee thing? Like, this is tuition for you, I think.
Similar in what way?
I never paid tuition. What does that
I
mean?
think that it's an education. Like you get audience from Barstool Sports. You're learning how to publish video, social, audio. You're making good money from it. You're learning how, you're thinking about how do you build a bigger world around the bus and the brand. Like, I think it's really similar.
Yeah, I think it's really similar. I think it'd be, if you were to work with a company like Barstool and not take the time to learn the ins and outs of how
And
your
you're
company
an
works,
idiot.
you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you take advantage of like this crash course on
Right.
business, which Will has done a much better job than I have. But just watching, like, I think the whole point is like, how do you get your own small business,
Mhm.
Bussin' with the Boys, to a place where it can be sustainable on its own?
Mhm.
And I think that if any other company is doing that under an umbrella of something like Barstool isn't doing that, it's like kind of like, why?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that there's very few companies that are as open as we are to that
Mhm.
concept, right? Like, that's what makes Barstool so special. You have done a great job. I think
Oh,
you've
thank
done
you.
an excellent job.
Yeah, he's the kids really picked it up.
He's
out-
pretty great.
Because I've said this a whole bunch of times, especially on the Ryan Whitney podcast too, is like, this bus wouldn't be what it is without him. Like Will,
Make sure that's on the trailer.
no, but don't do that. It's on every fucking
I'm just
trailer.
kidding. I'll just joke.
Yeah, but there was like Will knew his transition was coming and picked the perfect
He
time
was on it.
to get into it and start learning. So I
love
take
that.
notes all the time from the boy.
But I even think it's true for people who work at Barstool, right? Like there's a ton of people at Barstool who don't take advantage of it.
Which is wild because it's like
Such
the guy Trent, when we first went in there the first time, big bachelor guy. And he walks in, now he's doing the luggage thing. And
Yeah.
now he's got 200,000 followers on Twitter. It's
Yeah.
like you can have your own thing now. You can literally make your own tiny business
Yeah.
through that. Like you need to make sure you're doing everything you can. He's just
Yep.
one example.
Yep.
And I mean, all those people in there, you can't just be like the whole goal is not to be a pawn in the grand scheme.
Yeah.
It's like how do you turn
Not to be
yourself into a
talent.
queen?
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
How do you feel like sometimes I struggle in like when you're on the field and there's stuff you don't want to talk about and there's shit that shouldn't go on the air, but you have this. How do you balance the two?
Well, it really depends on the person. Like for me, with football, I just have a general rule of keep everything more vanilla. Like there's no reason for me. I have my own outlet to say what I want. So to the basic media, when I go and talk on a weekly basis, it's say the basic things. Don't give the other team bulletin board
Yeah.
material and move on to Sunday.
Yeah.
That's kind of all you really need to do. Here,
You like Bill Belichick.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, to an extent. Obviously, I put a little more flavor in it because
Yeah.
that's just who I am.
Yeah.
But I never say anything like, "Oh, we're gonna fuck this team up," or "This guy's trash."
Yeah.
Like it's just stupid to do that.
Mhm.
When it comes to this, it's like you can kind of say whatever you want. I have rules. I follow rules that Mike Vrabel, our head coach, has kind of
Yeah.
put in place. Like, don't talk about injuries. Don't talk about guys. Compare guys. Don't talk about scheme. And then kind of speak for yourself. Don't speak for anybody else.
Those are
That's-
good rules.
Those are his rules as far as like when you go to talk to the media in general on the team. So I figure it's smart for me to do that here too.
Schemes, you mean like playing schemes?
Schemes, plays, what defenses are doing, what we do, what we like to lean on. Because it's like, why would you give anything up that another team can look at and be, all right, we play the Titans in
Yeah.
October.
Yeah. Gonna,
Yeah, make sure we have that down.
Yeah.
So it's not very difficult to navigate that part. The hard part for me to navigate is doing this during the season.
yeah, it's tough.
Because like on a win, everything's great. People love you, think it's amazing. You lose, everyone's like, this fucking guy in this podcast.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit. All he
In
cares
the
about is
locker room or outside the locker room?
no. I think the locker room, people have become fans.
Yeah.
Like when I'm playing football games, guys will come up to me during games, timeouts, and be like, "Hey, get me on the bus."
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and I'll give them that. Well, maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
Kind of shrug them off a little bit.
Tell them your how you interview him. Tell me your best story.
Oh yeah, we had one kid. I actually told him if he made the team because he was undrafted free agent. I was like, if you make the team, you can come on the pod. And he's a D tackle from Michigan State, and he's like, let me get on the bus. Let me get on the bus. And I'm like, tell me your best story right now. And he usually just freezes dudes up. Like if you don't have a story, it's like, what are you gonna come on the bus for then? To do what? Sit here and be like, you're here.
Yeah.
You've made it on the air. There it is, camera. So yeah, we usually do that on the field too. If there's like a long TV timeout and I'm around a guy,
You're like,
and they
hit
ask
me with your best story.
yeah, give me your best story right now, and they'll kind of be like, well, I gotta. It's like, well, take a fucking walk then.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I'm doing this and you're not. Take a scoot, buddy.
And then you're like, bam.
Yeah. So what did you? This is a podcast for you, not for us, not
Oh,
for
okay,
me.
great.
I wanted to go off you were talking about the Mike Vrabel like values that
Yeah.
you kind of brought on the bus. You guys have been talking about doing core values
Oh,
now.
yeah, we're getting a lot of
And I listen to Dave, and Dave's like, I don't know what he hates it, but then he hears them and he's like, I drive with those. Why do you feel like it's been important to bring on core values? You feel like it's being, because you guys have grown how many employees over the last year? Like over 70?
When I got to Barstool 2016, there were 15 of us, I guess. Like it was super small. Like it was like this, not even this big as your space.
This is a short bus.
It is a short bus. Literally.
Yeah.
Just because Will's on it.
Yeah, no question. How do you always say catch your hands? That's tough.
Okay, that's I welcome it. You know what I mean?
Do you
Yeah.
I guess so. It's my energy, I guess.
On
Yeah,
that
it's an honor.
on that Whitney
always
podcast?
Yeah. I spin it at some point.
You
It's
used
all
to not
good.
smile.
Really?
No, when I
Ooh,
first
think
met
I
him,
smiled.
whenever we
now.
would take a picture, you do like this.
Yeah, if we're talking about photos.
Yeah.
Not that I
You
didn't
have
laugh
sex.
my ass off.
Oh,
What?
Do you have fake teeth?
Why does this
Erika.
happen on every goddamn show?
Oh yeah, they're fake.
Oh yeah.
Pull them up.
No, they don't come out.
Oh.
But yeah, I had like
somebody knocked them out, or
I
they
had,
were
I had like
bad?
little chiclets back in the
I
day.
dated a girl in high school that had pull-out teeth.
Faced.
She had
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah, she like had a retainer. It was
I
like
have
holding
something
4 teeth
really,
in.
Really inappropriate to say about
Let's
that. but
hear
I'm
that
not
in a
gonna say
second.
it.
But this is
Let's quickly look
get
at this
that middle
photo.
one, fourth one in from on the first row. Look at that.
Oh,
Look at those things. It totally changed him. It changed him as a person. It changed
Were
his
you
look.
always dying to do it?
Yeah. Once I kind of got in the league and was,
Good for you.
yeah, it was always something I kind of wanted to do. And then when I came to
Nice.
Tennessee and I was in like a new place on a new team, new team, new me.
Yeah,
And
I
then
love it.
I ended up getting them, and everybody would try and like do the whole like, hey, it's your stitch, man. Like it's part of your personality. You can't change that. And
No, you can do
nobody
whatever you want.
cares
You
that
do
X,
you.
Y, and Z. But now it's a little different.
Yeah.
Now you look back at it and you're like, oh fuck, his mouth was fucked up. But at the time,
Before
like,
then, they were like, "That's your character."
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Because when I
100%
first
true,
got
dude. That's
a
so
couple people
true.
would be like, oh, you don't even look that much different. But now that we get kind of removed, or somebody
Yeah.
who doesn't even know I had fake teeth or have fake
They're
teeth,
just so
they're just
white.
like, oh shit.
Yeah, they're outstanding.
They are.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, because you got to think when people do veneers, it's easy to fuck up because you could go too white or too big of a tooth
Mhm.
in
Right,
different shapes
right.
and
So
sizes.
you're a good
You
dentist.
did a good job.
Now
Clint
they're doing
Newman.
like bling on them, like
No free
that have,
shout-outs,
like,
Clint
a
Newman.
little decal on it.
I would get
Okay.
a grill if I were you. I would absolutely get a grill
No, for what? What grill? For what?
to have. No, you get a grill, you pop it on over the teeth just so you can have a little something in there.
But what's the grill going to be? Just gold?
Could be gold, could be diamonds.
Ooh, could be black.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd do it for a joke, but I
black
wouldn't
mouth?
just get like a grill to be like, oh, I want a fucking grill.
I've always wanted to have a grill to play in a football game because I
I
think
know
a
you
white
do.
dude with a grill would be hilarious.
You should do that.
Yeah, I think I might. I need Barstool to throw me about 10 to 10K
Okay,
to
we
do
can
it.
help you out. I can
I
help you out
appreciate
with that.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you very
We get a
much.
sponsor to be like a Chevy
Hey,
logo.
keep her on.
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
keep,
yeah,
Keep,
get a
keep her
sponsor
on
for
the
my
core
grill.
value shit.
Okay, sorry, core
She keeps
values.
putting it
Yeah.
up like we're on Token CEO. We're not. We're on Bussin' with the Boys.
All right,
Yeah,
all
this
right,
is a
yeah,
huge
you're right.
podcast.
This is your show. Yeah.
a big
Okay,
show.
got you. Okay,
Probably the fastest growing podcast in Barstool history.
Maybe.
clearly.
Fastest we're going.
Yeah.
It's incredible. But core values.
Okay, core values. This year we have 300 people who work at Barstool Sports, which means basically what's happening is there's people who work for people who work for people who are like, we're bringing on so many people that even I used to have every person who worked for Barstool on my phone.
Mm.
I would have their cell phone in my phone and I would know who they were. And because in the early days, we were always in trouble and there was always something going wrong. So you needed to reach someone at any time, anywhere. But when we got so big, you just kind of get disconnected from like, who are we hiring and what are they doing? And, how'd they get here? And what do they know of Barstool Sports? You know what I mean? And the thing that I get worried about is when we start to look like other companies. Like the bigger we get, the more we have to work to stay like the pirate ship.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
when you add a lot of people, you just become like bigger. You just become a bigger company.
More
You know what I
corporate.
mean? More corporate. And I don't really want to be corporate. I do think we should be really effective. So we have 8 values, right? And we rolled the values out because basically we're hiring a lot of people. We should be firing a lot of people, and we should be hiring and firing people based on those values, right? Like common sense.
Boys. No. I'm just thinking we were literally just talking about doing that. I wasn't trying
About
to.
firing people?
JP, you
Who's
did
gonna
great,
get
man.
fired over here?
No, nobody. We were just doing like an exercise last week where we were
There's a
coming
couple
up.
people up in the back there hanging out by a thread.
We were the dark
We're not
back
going to say
corner.
who. We're not going to
But,
say who. There's a couple back there.
Learn like putting together core values, and then it kind of dictates the longevity of them like being there.
Yeah.
I got it from the book Traction.
Okay, I haven't
But
read that book. Do you
anyway,
read a lot of
continue to
business
go.
books? You strike me as someone who reads business
I wouldn't say I read a lot. I dabble in a lot of business
okay.
books.
Okay, like flip
Well, I'll
through it.
like get the stuff, and then I think I have an idea. I start running with the idea. I forget to continue to read the
Okay,
book,
that's
and then I
okay.
got to come back
Yeah, yeah.
around to it.
Okay. So anyway, so we have values.
Yeah. What are the core 8 values?
So
Ooh, put her on the
Common
spot. I love
sense.
that.
Makes sense.
that's easy. That's like the Dave Portnoy value.
Right. Well, he didn't. He's got more common sense now.
Big common sense guy sometimes doesn't use common sense.
Right. Okay, I would agree. I
You're
get
a
on board
big
with
common
that.
sense guy sometimes doesn't use common sense.
Right.
That's Dave. That's one. To be the solution, not part of the problem. So as we get bigger, it's easy just to sit around and like rubberneck on like everything everybody else is doing wrong. But
Yeah.
like, what are you doing to fix it? I
Mhm.
get very irritated with that. So that's a value. Another value is put the stoolies first. Like put your fan first. Whether your fan or your customer is a salesperson or a brand or a stoolie or whatever it may be, like the difference with us is that we're just so close to the audience that if you're on television, the people at NBC don't really ever think about who's watching this episode of this show. It's a number in a Nielsen rating
Right.
book, right? Like
Mhm.
you guys are thinking about it because people are chirping you based on whether your guests sucked or they agreed with what you said or they
Yeah.
disagree or they think they should be in a different tier or whatever. So keeping your fan first is really important. Like Big Cat's very good about this. Like Big Cat has one of the single highest engagements at Barstool because he talks to his people all the time. He's just always responding. He's always talking to them. He tweets, I want to say in a week on average, like something like 200 plus times.
No shit.
So
Yeah,
there's
he's a good
high
follow.
product. He's great follow.
He's a
Great-
great
he's a
follow.
great
He's a great follow. He's great at Twitter, but he also is highly engaging because he's always thinking when they do pardon my take, it's the AWL. Like, how do they think about the listener? How do they think about the listener? So that's value. What other values?
We interrupt this episode to shout out the boys at BetterHelp Online Therapy. Look, relationships take work. A lot of us will drop anything to go help someone we care about. We'll go out of our way to treat other people well, but how often do we give ourselves the same treatment? This month, BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to take care of the most important relationship, the one you have with yourself. Whether it's hitting the gym, making time for your haircut, or even trying therapy, you are your greatest asset, so invest the time and effort into yourself like you do for other people. I talk about it all the time. My wife and I, we do couples therapy. We absolutely love it. We did it before marriage. We're continuing to do it. And I can't tell you how much better I feel sometimes when I'm in there. And the boy will cry. And for sometimes I have no clue why.
Yep.
And sometimes you just need that awareness that kind of zooms you out a little bit. You leave the room, you leave the four walls. The great thing with the BetterHelp is they also offer video, phone, even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you don't even have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp Online Therapy. And this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and our listeners are getting 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/bussin. That's BetterHelp.com/bussin.
Be authentic. So don't be kind of like the Vrabel thing. Like, don't be something you're not. Don't speak to something you don't know. That's an important one. Next one is like just diversity of thought. Like, people think that Barstool's so not diverse, but if you walk around New York, our office in New York, like, we got a lot of weird people. We got people who come from all different places. So being open to other people's ideas. As we've grown, we tend to have people who like just want to hold things tight, and they're like, we do this because we do it this way. And it's like, well, why the fuck do you do it that way?
Mhm.
Like, is that the best way to do it? People at work, I think, don't like to be challenged. Like, you're challenged all the time on the field. Like, why'd you
Right.
do that play? That was dumb. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, we talked about this when you joined. Like,
Yeah,
you guys get a lot of very critical feedback.
and it's
Every
fast
day.
too. It's literally like
Right.
when you come off the
There's
field.
no performance
Yeah,
review.
if you go 3 and out,
Yeah.
and then you come off the field, the coaches will be like, have that plays like, why? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Like, this is not your guy.
Right.
You're not supposed to be doing this technique. It's very quick, and it's weird for
And at
us.
halftime,
And at halftime,
and after the game.
and after the game, and right like in
Yeah.
the morning, like you hit
And then you're
you hit
watching
the game.
film, and then you
Oh
get it
my
all
god!
over again.
And then God forbid you watch it by yourself and you had a bad game.
Yeah, and
You're
like,
just watching that thing on repeat, going,
yeah, it's like Linda
I'm done.
Ronstadt's playing.
Right.
It's just the tears.
Fucking just sad.
Sets you up for the next day. You're like, fuck.
So are you
I've watched
guys
this
like
100
that on
times.
here?
No, we used to be when we first started. We would call each other on the way home from podcasts, be like, "Hey, do you think that was good? Like, what could we have
Okay.
done different?" Blah blah blah. And we're finding more of a groove now of just like really enjoying it and not cutting as much stuff.
Okay.
Like, we've had a couple pods that we had to cut 30, 45 minutes ago. A couple
Because
people
they were bad,
They
or
were sloshed. A
Okay.
couple guys get a little,
Oh, okay.
a little tips. A couple guys feel, and then also we like to be like friendly to the person that's on the podcast.
Yeah.
So if we had we had a Roman Yossi on who's the captain of the Predators, and we were telling like first time we jerked off stories,
okay.
and he told his story, and then he left and called
he
me
was
and was
like,
like, I probably shouldn't have done that. So we
Yeah.
just cut it,
Yeah.
but it was hilarious.
Mhm.
And so I think through that, it's just become more fun. Like, we
Yeah.
sit on here for 45 minutes to an hour,
Yeah.
and it's an absolute
Shoot the
blast.
shit. Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's what it should be.
Yeah, I
You
think
know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It's
a lot of
easy.
the stuff we do is comes from outside of like maybe the actual like stuff we're saying in the episode. Like, we're always talking, like, we're all always kind of like game planning the way we might word content, the way we might do stuff on YouTube,
Yeah.
The way we post,
Yeah.
changing up Twitter.
Yep.
So, I mean, a little bit, but as far as like us being on the bus, I mean, I don't think we listen to a whole lot of stuff. I listen to a lot of the clips.
Mhm.
Mm.
And then you'll try and find like, like watching Big Cat from afar, the way he talks to
Yeah,
his
you got it.
audience.
Yeah.
you start to figure out like these blueprints that are out there. And it's like, how can I kind of take my unique way of doing
how would I
it
apply that?
to apply it?
Yeah. So look, like, I think I think most people don't like feedback. Oh, you can't hear me?
Oh, I don't know. When you turn your head, I get a little like, oh, maybe I need to get that a little closer.
What producer you are?
Was it?
Yeah, that's a weird thing with like the real world that I think is like difficult.
Real world
for
doesn't
people to
like
understand.
feedback.
Like if you're criticized, people are like, oh, something's wrong with me. I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, dude. Like you just got to figure the shit out. Like
a shitty play.
if you just stop taking shit personally all the time, you're probably going to be 1,000 times better off as a person in general.
That's right.
And so that's kind of, even when we started this, working with people, not these guys have gotten way better, but the people we originally worked with and stuff like that. And kind of as we got to this core group, it's like, you kind of say something that's like, hey, you got to be better. And then they get all butthurt and they're upset. And like the next day, like, hey, you kind of hurt my feelings. It's like, well, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. Like, we just got to say like, hey, don't do this, do that, whatever it is. And so, I mean,
That's good that you're like that.
Well, I think it's probably with you too. Like you get in a lot of new people into the building. Like there is a time, like I know for me, if somebody might take something the wrong way, like I know for me, maybe I got to figure out how I can communicate better with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Versus like, okay, I'm trying to tell you X, Y, and Z. And if I'm feeling frustrated telling you it and you're for some reason missing it or not getting it, then I could probably do a better job of explaining it the way coaches are with us.
Yeah.
I'm sure the way you are with people coming in, creating more of a culture and people kind of getting like a miscommunication, right?
Yeah.
It goes down through different people.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, they're like, well, why wasn't I in the loop on this?
Yeah.
And it's just like, we're not figuring out how to communicate a little bit better too.
And be efficient. I get you.
Efficiency's got to be tough with 300 employees though.
Tough.
And how do you not let things fall through the cracks?
I don't know my new favorite game. So I go into a meeting right now and I go into the Google meeting and I see how many people are in the meeting. And then I divide the amount of money we make from that brand by the number of people by department. So I'll give you an example. So we had a meeting the other day. We had 29 people on it. 29 people from our fucking company on this meeting. We do $12,000 in merch revenue from this particular person. And we had like 4 people technically on the invite. There were 5, so I divided it by 5. But it's like, what are we doing? Like, that's stupid. Like, everyone should run their business like they're a CEO. Whether you're running the bus or you're running a brand at Barstool or you're growing advertising or commerce or like everybody should, like I don't like inertia. And I think sometimes when you get to 300 people or you look at, ESPN or NBC are 10 to 15 times that size. It's just a lot of people who just float things around all day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's annoying. Like, why? You don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
So you got to trim the fat.
You got to trim the fat.
Got to trim the fat.
Like, why do we have 4 people? Why? What is either so broken in this group that we needed 4 people to hear the same thing?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
So I
got to send checks for all those people.
Exactly. It's like 5th grade girls soccer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or it's just like everybody's clumped on the ball and nobody's passing or receiving or knows where the goal is.
Right. Because you've recently said you need to start killing shit at Barstool.
Definitely.
Is that the type of stuff that you're talking about?
That. And then we need, we have a bunch of brands where if you're a talent at Barstool Sports and you're not willing to hoof it on your brand, then why are we, I'll give you an example. Everybody bitches about homepage promotion, right? All day long, just complains about homepage promotion. Or I had a talent last week personality who was like, I need a raise. I need a bigger contract. I need a raise. I'm doing so much. And I was like, all right, let me go look at your Instagram. The last time you promoted merch on your Instagram was in 2020. It's like March of 2022. So no, we're not doing a raise. So it's like, you got to put your money where your mouth is. And then it's also, if the best part of Barstool Sports is the freedom. Like, you can do whatever you want. Like, Dave will never block that. I will never block that. We want to enable really smart, funny, creative people to do literally whatever they want. If you don't take advantage of that, then we're not going to babysit you. And that's the we're not going to, what we started doing wrong, quite honestly, is we started to give everybody a crutch. And we started to give everybody a handout and give everybody a little bit of a leg up, which just conditioned them to ask for more versus learning how to do it for themselves.
In what ways are you giving crutches?
oh, hey, let us get you a camera guy. Let us get you
Mhm.
another producer. Let us give you someone to do the social for you.
Give them all the tools.
All the tools, but then they never had the thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like, if you don't have the thing, then why should you have all the tools?
Right.
Right. Well, how do you teach them?
Right.
How do you go about teaching
Right.
them now?
Well, now it's like, go do it yourself. And if it grows, I mean, you guys are the perfect example of this. You had this before we even came along,
Mhm.
right? You knew what you wanted. You had a vision. You knew the dynamic. You knew the vibe you wanted to create. You knew the things you wanted to talk about. You knew the environment you were going to build. And then you came to us and we're like, hey, help us blow it up. Like, we need a partner. People need to do the same thing now. Like, if you look at all that matters right now is 1 minute videos on the internet,
Mhm.
period, full stop. Long form doesn't really matter. Short form social video is the name of the game. Original video. What do the algorithms want? The algorithms want the phone as close to your face as possible. You do
Right.
not need a producer for that, or a cameraman, or an editor, or a graphics guy, or a social person. Like, basically the back of the bus.
Yeah.
Like,
The boys.
which,
Boys are sweating right now.
yeah, there's a lot of boys here.
Yeah.
You have a big team.
Yeah, I mean, I think with that too, like obviously having a show, I think like plays into it. There could be different examples, right?
Yeah, you're
Like, you
building
could
a
be
world.
right. You could be like,
Right.
if I'm an employee at Barstool and I'm a talent at Barstool,
Mhm.
very much like the Lil Sasses, the
Yep.
Caleb Presley's, like the guys who can sit there and hold their camera and use their phone and just use their phone.
Yep.
But
But then
yeah,
there's some-
obviously you got these guys because we got
Well,
you
you have
get-
a
you get an
show,
operation
right?
going
Caleb
on in a
Presley
show, yeah.
It's a very produced show. You're building the Bussin world. You need to
Mm.
produce that. You also need to complement it with short form 1 minute videos of your faces.
right.
You know what I mean?
Or
And
we
the
could probably
comment-
do a better job.
Oh, 100%, especially me.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've
But
definitely.
you it's nuanced. You know what I mean?
It's definitely
nuanced.
it's a balancing game for me, but I think I've done obviously way more this offseason than I probably ever
Mhm.
have.
I think you're more relaxed than I've ever seen you
Right now?
in general. And now, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
Because
probably agree
it's
with
off
that.
season and
Hey, kick me again. I'll fucking boot you out of this
I'm
bus.
just
All right?
saying.
Has that relaxed?
exactly.
No, I
That's
think
our
you're right.
marshmallow.
Yeah, triggered.
Our iron
Yeah,
marshmallow.
exactly. That was an example of how I get triggered
Yeah,
fast.
Hey, how do we
Being
do?
told what to do.
Yeah. Well, and we were just talking and coming back from the Mcafee show, like, man, they just have fun. They get their jokes and they start doing it and feed into it. My man gets mad when we're just trying to do the snaps.
No, I definitely am. This is the most calm I felt probably. Oh, last 3 years have been tough.
Yeah. you
Like,
seem
it's
calm.
been tough for like with a PED, then an ACL, coming
Yeah.
back from an ACL. It's just been not fun.
Yeah.
And so this is a place where I think it's just fun to do.
Yeah. Well,
This
it's
is-
your home. It's a
Yeah, it's easy in a way. Like it's harder work, but it's easy because it's fun.
Yeah.
Like I'm enjoying doing this, and I'm realizing now more than ever that this is like a fun. If life was a game, this is the game I want to play.
That's right. Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
So I've definitely been
Was
enjoying
Whitney
this.
helpful to you guys on that?
What do you
Ryan
mean?
Whitney, like in life after being a pro?
Yeah, he was like the way he came in, did the pod, and had to boogie. But when we were talking, that is something that I think every athlete thinks about. It's
Yeah.
like, what's going to happen after I'm done? And when you first get in the NFL or whatever sport you are, I'm an example of this. It's like, oh, I'm going to play till I die. I'm going to
Okay.
die on the football field.
Yeah.
And it's like you get to year 8 and you're like,
Yeah.
fuck, like
Yeah. My knees are shot.
more than half of it's over
Yeah.
now. You know what I'm saying? Like how much more you got in you? What are you going to do? And I'm super lucky that Will came to me with this 3 years ago. It was like, let's do a podcast. I'm like, all right, whatever. And now it's like became way bigger than I think we ever expected.
Yep.
And so it's been a
What
cool
do most
deal.
guys do?
I think a lot of guys jump into real estate for whatever reason.
Guys will jump into real estate. There's a lot of people like, if I have a conversation with someone, who were we talking to? I forget who we were talking to, but they were saying like players will reach out to them all the time for media gigs or media help and trying to get into the media
Like the
world.
talking
And you
head
wait
game?
until the game's over to try and get into stuff.
Yeah, there's a
And
lot of guys that do that.
You know, it's very like diluted after that.
Yeah.
Like you become a former player, an ex-player.
Yeah.
It seems to me, for like lack of a better term or easiest way to describe it, you seem a little more desperate trying to get into something versus striking while the iron's hot, like
Yeah.
while you're in it.
Yeah.
Like Ryan does help out with that. So Ryan Whitney, Pat McAfee, all these guys that we've had on who are successful now outside and off the football field. Because those are guys that I've like looked to
Yeah.
for examples
Sure.
and like how do they do it and
Yeah.
everything else. Because 3 years ago, I thought that next year would probably be my last
Yeah.
year based on the year before. fortunately, I've been able to do a few more,
I
but
feel like every year's the last year.
I know.
No, it's not. Right? Until it is, I guess.
What's
We're
crazy?
going to the Raiders.
Yeah.
What's crazy is yesterday, I'll tell you who it was after the pod, but yesterday I get a message basically saying, hey, we possibly have a spot. If you want to be our fourth linebacker, call the defense and play special teams.
Mhm.
Yeah. Talking about, when, I'm responding like, hey, if this is real, like keep me in the loop. But would I have to show up for training camp?
I already know who it was.
Yeah. We'll talk about it after without saying it. But yeah, every year does feel like, and it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable in my chair now.
Yeah.
Versus you have some insecurities on who you're going to be after not being a football player. Like there's that part of you that wants to play football badly or to be seen such a certain way on the football field. And like, it's just, you gain awareness and perspective on the situation to where it's like you just find your groove and everything else and you become more relaxed in like who you are, I feel like. But yeah, every year, a few years ago, it'd be like, oh, I'm retiring after this year, retiring after this year. I mean, I still pretty much say it, but Charles, my wife was asking me not too long ago. I'm like, I don't want to never say never
say
anymore.
never.
Yeah, Justin Bieber said that.
Right.
True.
Because you never want to be so committed to something that you won't take like a better situation,
course.
right?
Are you bored?
No, not at all. I'm just fixing my mustache. I'm
Okay.
enjoying this
Do
conversation.
you use gel?
No,
or,
I don't
like,
use nothing
pomade?
in it. I should. It's just gotten so long. I need to do something about it for
We're
sure.
going to do an ad read or what?
Oh, we're
we-
going to hit the ads after.
Oh.
You want to do ad reads on
No,
here?
but I want to talk about Budweiser.
Oh,
Okay. So do we.
Let's go.
navigate us too, because we don't want to ever come. I was on the phone with who is it, Paul, who does all of the legal
Paul,
stuff
the legal
for you
guy.
guys.
He really likes you.
And I was sending him the other day.
What a podcast for Will. He's just getting lots of compliments.
Yes.
This is a way
I was,
different pod than the Ryan Whitney podcast. This is like the opposite.
It was like, you suck.
Yeah. And I'm such a sheep too. I'm like joining in. Yeah, you are great. You started when he started it. When he started talking shit, I was like, yeah, you were a piece of shit, Will.
No, I want to say you started it.
What do you mean?
He's like, hey, you got to get your word count up.
Well, yeah, dude, you were like a tweet at that point. We're 30 minutes in.
Doesn't
Why
matter.
You can't do 250
We've
characters.
already talked about this. Sometimes you got to be a better listener.
Okay.
I gotta be.
No, I'm saying you as in like, I got,
So
just in general.
Budweiser.
This
yeah,
is
one
smart.
must be a better listener.
That's smart as a technique.
This right here.
Yes.
The outline or the numbers?
Well, the numbers, who cares? But
Whoa,
this is-
don't say that now. This is my, go back.
Yeah, I'm
This
with
is
you.
my favorite part of the podcast.
Oh, really?
It's me knowing where I'm at. Yeah.
Okay, well, so how much more time do we have? We have
Well,
like-
that doesn't matter. It's when we
45
started. Actually, it's already served its purpose. but this is for some reason I have a weird deal with it. I have to know
You have to know where we are.
where we are.
Okay, I like
Yeah,
that.
I got to know.
You're saying you like the outline?
I just think it's a smart way to do it.
We start getting, that's a great example right there. You get off the beaten path or Taylor's like, oh, this is important. She asks questions to Taylor and then we start getting a little
I know,
deviate
I
off the path.
I know we did deviate a path in the beginning that I'm trying to figure out a way to get back to, which I'll
Okay.
figure out that way in a second.
Budweiser.
Yeah.
Let's go. Tell the story.
Outstanding
I was
people.
going to say navigate the conversation. What I was
Okay,
saying
I'll
with
help you.
Paul is
Yeah.
I just sent him like 6 different videos before I could put that one on the internet. Because he's like, you don't say, you might want to not want to say this or
Oh, I
come
know
out
you're-
Budweiser.
I
Yeah.
would. Why are you giving a legal person that much control over your
Yeah.
life?
I don't. It's just personally, I would love to work with Budweiser. So you don't want to
Do you
sit
want
there
me
and
to
go,
tell you why Budweiser is never going to work with you
because we already fucking do it for him.
all day long?
But why?
You
Why?
are probably their biggest ad spend that they spend $0 on.
So then why do we got to get to C&D?
Exactly. Budweiser. We have a complicated relationship with Budweiser
Why is that?
because one, love them.
Yeah.
Love the Anheuser-Busch company, and they used to be a big partner for Barstool, like one of the earliest advertisers. Awesome. Would work with them in a heartbeat. But I think they started to see us as competitive, right? When we launched Pink Whitney and we had talked to them about doing something together, launching something together. And then I think they were like, are you a friend or are you a foe? Because ultimately, like, you should have a beer partner. You have a bug on the bus.
I know.
I know you hear it.
That's actually the first time.
It really is.
Like an
It's the
infestation
first time
here.
this has happened, but
Really, it's
don't
probably 'cause
let the
there's a
bug
chick on the
distract
bus.
us.
Yeah.
So they thought you were a friend or foe. They didn't know what to do with
Yeah,
you.
they don't know what to do with you. So, and then they were getting a lot of free advertising, right?
Mhm.
Like Dana Beers was like, he's crushing
Right.
a million. One, we're fueling their like Northeastern product budget because we're just buying so many beers, and also it's just a ton of free advertising. And brands are smart like that. When they get free ads, they're not going to pay for them,
Yeah, some brands are just more advanced than others. Like
Correct.
Apple.
Yeah.
Apple will send out their headphones to players and be like, "Don't even post about it. Just
Yeah.
wear them."
Yeah, just enjoy
That's-
these.
And that's it.
And you probably love that even more.
And you think, oh, great, I'm getting headphones.
Yeah.
And then you realize you take a picture and the headphones in
correct.
as you're walking in the locker room, and that's all they wanted.
That's all they
And they
wanted.
fucking got you just
Yeah.
like that.
You don't even know. the
Madden is
pictures
a great
you take.
example.
For
Do
real.
player ratings in Madden, and you get everyone all fucking up in
Yep.
arms about
Yeah.
Madden
Yep.
ratings. And it's just free advertising.
No doubt.
Yep.
So how do you navigate the waters with Budweiser given the situation you're at?
Well,
the bug is now a part of the bus.
It is.
So that
And we have to
it's
accept
a
it.
badass
Yep.
Dude, that thing was buzzing in my face a second ago.
Now, is this going to trigger you or no?
No, this is not a trigger point for me.
Well,
It's really
attracted to the light.
authority is the thing that triggers me the
Okay.
most. I have an issue with authority.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, it's not
Do you have
about
an
that.
authority issue? Not really.
No.
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 I have awareness.
Okay, so
I'm teasing.
That was an
I'm
outstanding
teasing.
chirp.
Teasing.
That was a perfectly placed chirp.
all right, so we
Beer
can't
partner.
do somebody's marks, but let's get you a beer partner.
Dude, I do think we need a beer partner.
Why don't you give
like
the
a
pitch,
real
like, tell
ass
your best
beer partner?
story?
Go ahead, Taylor. This is the talent of Taylor Lewan.
Well, what story about drinking a beer? Let's say Dos Equis is trying to get us.
Let's go.
One
Yeah.
time I was in Mexico with my buddy, and we're at this beach called Manny's. It's right in Rocky Point, Mexico. We're hanging out. We're having a bunch of Dos Equis, having a great time. I'm 16, 17 years old. And these three girls that went to ASU kind of come down. We're playing game. We're playing the limbo game. Are you interested? Am I interested? Are we
Oh,
going to play
okay.
this game for the rest of the night?
Okay.
We start talking with them. So it's me, my buddy Brown Bear, and my buddy Nick. And we start going down this row of bars. And we end up going to the beach. And I start talking some girl up. I'm like, hey, what's going on? What's the deal? She's like, oh, I have a boyfriend. So I knew right then and there, I'm the boy laying on the grenade for the crew.
Okay.
Like, this is what I have to do for the
Okay.
squad.
Yep.
And my other two buddies are already tonsils deep in these other two broads. They're having a
Okay.
great time about it.
You're going to be the wingman.
Yeah, so I'm the wingman. And so we end up going to the beach because romantically, that's the thing you do when you're 16, 17 years old, which is right outside the bar. And we're kind of talking. My buddy, don't put his name in there. My buddy Blink goes into the ocean with this girl because apparently that's the move. And so they're getting
hook
thrashed
up in
on
the
the way to
ocean?
hook up in the ocean.
Okay, that seems
Now,
difficult
given-
to me, but okay.
Yeah.
We're trying our best,
So
right? We're
100%.
16, 17, and we're playing the most recent porno we've seen in our life,
You
right?
do
We're
you.
jumping
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yep.
Well, I saw them do this, so I'm going to do that,
Yeah.
but with water. It's so much more romantic.
Totally.
Not thinking salt water and crevices. It's not going to be a good deal
Yep.
for either of us.
Yep. Itchy.
They go out there and do their thing, and I'm sitting with this girl, kind of just talking to her. My other buddy's playing tonsil hockey, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go grab myself another Dos Equis. So I cruise over to the bar, and some lady comes up to me, grabs me right between the legs,
Grabs
and I'm
you.
like, grabs me
Yep.
right
Ooh.
between, snakes
Yep.
me right there, and I'm like, oh my.
Were you feeling good?
Oh,
Was it a
immediately.
good day or bad day?
Immediately.
How old was the lady?
Oh, she was mid-30s.
Okay, cougar.
Cougar. She was a resident of Rocky Point, Mexico.
Okay.
So she comes up to me and squanders my boys, and I go, oh my! And there's immediate, like, you get a little bit of a head rush. You lose some
Okay.
blood there, add some blood there. I'm
Yeah.
excited. And she looks at me and says, "Sucky, sucky," and she like smiles at me. She got about as much teeth as a jack-o'-lantern.
Okay.
All right, she's got one here, one
did
there.
the
She's
grill.
mixing all over the place.
Yeah.
And you're thinking to yourself, well, I could fit in that crevice. But you think to yourself, even heads prevail. So I'm like, no, I'm good. I can't do this. And I go in, I get my delicious Dos Equis because
Mhm.
they're just, it's what I needed in that moment. And when you're 16, 17 and you're able to drink, like, what else are you going to grab? You're going to grab the Dos Equis. So I come back on the beach and I look at my buddy Brown. I'm like, hey, dude, you got to try this. Go walk to the bar like you're going to go get another Dos Equis. And this girl's going to come up to you and grab you
Mhm.
by the penis. And he's like, I don't want to. I don't know. And I'm like, just go fucking do it. So I ended up talking him into it. And me and this girl, like, sitting there watching, like, this is now a game to us.
Mhm.
Same thing happens, like clockwork. Walks up and she comes out of the alleyway. Like, she comes out of the alleyway, like, surfaces like a demon and grabs him just the same way. But he's immediately, I was a little more like, okay, what's going on here? He was immediately like, no, I'm good. I'm all set. She reaches into his pocket, pulls out all his money. And he goes from loving happy Brown Bear to hood Brown Bear. He's
Okay.
like, what the fuck? Give me my fucking money. He starts yelling at the girl. The girl's like, no, money's on the ground. Money's on the ground. And she darts back into her alleyway
lair.
that goes out to the main street. So he starts counting it, realizes he's missing about $80, chases after this broad. And I finish up and hurry drinking my Dos Equis because it's like, I'm not going to leave this on the beach. Is that a joke? Like, some crab can get it. So I put it down and I drink it. I chase after the guy. And I get to the alleyway, and it's like literally like a high school fight scene's about to go down. Like, these two are sitting, like, kind of squaring off with each other. This girl and my buddy, and he's like in her face
And they're
about
like-
the $80. And there's like a flood of Mexicans.
Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, have now, like, yes, exactly. Have like came around to like fight each other. And they're all drinking Dos Equis, obviously. And I come up to them like, dude, you can't do this. Like the police start showing up, and in Mexico, you're 16, 17. You can't be.
Yeah.
If the police are around, you got a buggy.
Skedaddle.
Some dude named Bito. He's about 5'2" tall, about 5'4" around. The guy had his own gravitational pull. He was so large. He comes waddling up to us, and he's like, hey, what are you guys doing here? And he's like, this bitch stole my money. Brown bear, not me. I would never call a woman a bitch. That's crazy. He says, this bitch stole my money. And he looks at her and he goes, bitch. And he goes, yeah, this girl stole my money. And he goes, buddy, that's not a girl. That's a guy. And he pulls up the skirt on this jack-o'-lantern woman, and she's got a bulge bigger than mine with a sock put in it. It was outstanding. It was a sight to see. So anyway, we got out of there. I'm starting to question myself a little bit because I got, the whole blood flow thing at the beginning. Yeah. But all of that started with a great night of Dos Equis.
That's right.
And I think that's it's important.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
job. Great. Love
Thank
it.
you.
That story should definitely get you a beer sponsor.
Right? I mean, it's a little bit longer than an elevator pitch.
That's all right.
Yeah, for sure. But it was a quality story, one that I haven't heard. So I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I made it up from the top. So I'm glad it all worked out.
Did you make it up?
No, that was all 100% true.
Based on a true story.
Based on a true story. Some things were
I
made up.
do think the way brands market themselves through individuals now and through brands like Barstool, Bussin with the Boys.
Future.
I think it's the way to go.
Definitely.
Versus creating your own thing.
Who cares about
especially if you want to own especially if you're a beer company and you want to own the athlete market.
Definitely.
Why not partner up with the boys who
you
are
want to own the young guy market,
Yeah. We're some young guys.
Did you watch
the
the
youngest
Super Bowl
guys.
ads?
Do what?
Did you watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah, we watched the Super Bowl.
Okay. Did you watch the ads?
Yeah, that's the most important part of the whole
Obviously.
game.
Yep. I thought they sucked.
I was gonna say
They've
they're
gotten
really
worse
nothing
and
that
worse
stood
every
out.
year.
Terrible. It's so cheesy and it's so
Just bring back the
fake
3
and-
fucking frogs, Budweiser.
Oh, the three
Bring back
frogs.
the freaking frogs.
I do love the Clydesdales though.
The Clydesdales are awesome, and I think they had one too where a bunch of horses are playing football.
100%.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
one
yeah.
was great.
Cowboy.
Yeah, that was great.
Says, yo,
Yeah,
that
they got the
ref's a
Dalmatians running
jackass.
around.
They
Yep.
used to have the banger commercials.
Yep.
They used to have bangers.
Now maybe you need to get the frogs and the boys together.
Yeah,
God, imagine if we worked with the frogs.
that'd be
That
great.
would be incredible.
If we had an
That would be
opportunity to
incredible.
get those guys out of retirement, bring them up, put them back on their lily pads and say, what's up?
Yeah.
That would be an outstanding gig. An
But
outstanding
I do
gig.
think it'd be awesome. Obviously, we're talking about Budweiser and everything that happened. But even with that video that went, like the local guy,
Dale Earnhardt, let's go.
right? Dale, the local guy,
Yeah.
text saying that a guy who can make decisions regionally was embarrassed about it, and they're trying to get, because again, you might have somebody up at like HQ in New York or something that sees something and makes a decision
Yeah.
based on
Well,
what
in
their
fairness,
dynamics
they have
are.
to defend their marks, right? Like that's their brand, that's their
Mm.
business. If somebody ripped off the Barstool logo, I'd go ape shit,
right,
So I get where they're coming from, but
right.
it's like, could we?
Make a baby together.
Yeah, why don't you make a baby with Budweiser?
God, wouldn't
That's
that
why
be a gorgeous
That's why we
child?
got you guys.
I know. Maybe I'll help you.
Because I don't want to paint this bus where we're going to have to if we can't work something out.
Definitely.
Yeah, because
Purple
we just give it, dude. And I love Bud Heavy, but we would need to look into.
Is Bud Heavy your go-to? Actually, don't say it.
Yeah, I can't say that.
You're
I'm
open
free-
to
hey,
any
I'm
beer.
a free agent.
Yeah,
Dos
that's
Equis
right.
is the go-to.
That's right.
Piggyback rye smash. That's my go-to.
Yeah, that's
Whistle
right.
pig.
Yeah,
The whistle pig is delicious. These little cans,
I know they're so good,
they're
right?
outstanding.
Blackberry lemon fizz.
Yeah, you jumped ship
I did jump ship.
from your fresh ginger lime.
Is
'Cause
this-
that's number
is
3
this
on
your
your
product
list.
placement?
Usually
Well,
we have
yeah.
a lot. We usually
You
have
guys
more,
could
but
do
I don't
a
know what
little-
happened.
You could do a little more than that. And
Yeah, why is that like
I'm
that, boys?
This is amazing. That
Right. That is true.
But there's usually more. Yeah, there's usually a lot
they're
more.
so good. All right,
Yeah,
well,
they're
that's
delicious.
What counts. Yeah, that's what counts.
Yeah, usually you think your centerpiece would have a little more to it,
Just a titch.
but we're all about the main course.
Yeah, I got you.
You know,
Yeah, it's all about the steak.
this is it. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
Can you bring up the deal?
Listen, I was going to read over these ads today, but I saw Alex pop this thing up. I absolutely love Georgia Boot. It's unbelievable. They stuck with the boys since day one, not day one, but you know what I'm saying? When they jumped on pretty early, and they've been going all day, every day with the boys. If you haven't seen our YouTube and audio, sorry, I forgot
Yes.
we're just doing YouTube, the Spring Ball Tour. Yep. Don't know why this is so difficult for me right now. We went to Nebraska and Georgia Boot jumped on board with that whole thing. So that's
I wore
really
them all
cool.
the whole time.
Yeah, and
Flipping
listen,
them.
you got so many compliments, and I bet they were comfortable as hell too, weren't
They
they?
were. They lasted me the whole time. They're my only pair of shoes I brought. Georgia boots.
You're lying.
Yes.
God, let me just hit a couple of these things. They want me to read this, but this is a personal guarantee. If you guys go to Georgia Boot, you're going to absolutely love it. Georgia Boot is the world's most comfortable
Yeah, I'm
boot.
not lying.
Duh. What?
They're laughing at me because he goes, you're lying. I go, yes. but I'm not lying.
Yeah, you're not lying.
Yeah.
Listen, when you're flying off the cuff, here we are just having a good time, right? We're having a beautiful time.
Yeah.
And you know that the whole Georgia boot thing, it's a beautiful time when you're wearing those also.
Yes. 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Super comfortable.
I get a little cranky when my feet hurt. When I have Georgia boots on, I'm never
And
cranky.
you get a little cranky when some things are a little too expensive.
Yeah, I do. I get frugal, believe it or not.
Let the people know
Believe it or
how
not.
comfortable and affordable Georgia boot is.
I'd love to. Got a little bubble in the throat. Tough weekend in college. Georgia Boot is America's hardest working boot for 80 years. Georgia's been making boots that work as hard as you do. Tough enough for your job, cool enough for everything else. Georgia Boot makes super good looking and super comfortable boots. So comfortable, you never want to take them off. Every time I wear these boots, people ask me where I got them. Whether you're working on your feet all day, working around the house, or just grilling out with some friends, these boots won't sacrifice comfort or style. Georgia Boot offers the best work boots, wedges, and loggers around. Whether you need waterproof boots, steel toe, soft toe, square toe, Met guard, non-puncture shank, non-slip sole, they've got it. And let me tell you, of all those things, I couldn't tell you what one of those things mean, but if they sent it to me, I put them on, I'd probably be a little safer, especially with that non-puncture shank. Like that sounds like a bit of a deal you probably want to wear in prison. Am I right? You know, you keep them toes safe. You know what I'm saying, homie?
Mm-hmm.
But hey, if you got access to those in prison, go ahead and do it. But head over to georgiaboot.com and use code Bussin for 20% off. 20% off. These boots are already so affordable, and you're taking 20% off that. You're basically stealing from the homies. So go enjoy. We love you. Back to the show.
Yeah, the outline.
That fucking
Because we got the CEO of Barstool Sports on. It's like, one thing I do want to know, how do you, obviously you've probably gotten over it and you probably don't give a fuck as much near anymore. But the whole stitch with the way people try and place you guys in the box of like misogyny and white male driven base, like how do you deal with that stuff? How do you guys pivot in some areas? And how do you, as the CEO of Barstool Sports, handle that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first thing I would say is that there are people who hate Barstool Sports who are always going to hate Barstool Sports. And if I were to when I first got to Barstool, probably for like the first 2.5 years, what was truly expected from me in the industry was just to apologize for Dave. Just apology tour, right? Like go get all dressed up and go say sorry for everything David had ever done or ever said. And the reality, and that only got worse as time went on.
Like you should have just did like a fucking tour throughout the country.
Yeah, the apology tour.
The apology tour.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like
what's
I
the
should
thing
have had
for
a bus.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what I realized, one is to start down that path, it's a bottomless glass. Like it's just truly a bottomless glass. And that the people,
Because of Dave or because of these people, the whistleblowers?
It's not even whistleblowers. It's just like the PC culture is insatiable. It's just insatiable. And I think that people are human and flawed and so interesting and strange, and that it's just a journey. And if everyone were to look back on your 16-year-old self or your 22-year-old self and you had the cameras on you that entire time, like you would never finish apologizing. So I was like, I'm just not going to apologize. Dave never apologized and I wasn't going to apologize. And people don't like that. And then what added to it was that essentially we started to eat people's lunch, right? It was easy to ignore us or write us off in the beginning because we were so small. And then we became bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And we started to take audience away from people. And we started to take ad revenue away from people. And we started to take time spent away from people. And then the other thing was when podcasting really started, you know, the ESPNs and the NBCs and the CBSs and the NFLs and all the authorities were like, of course, we'll be the best at this. Like, we are media. And it was like, no, with a podcast, you really just need a microphone and maybe a camera and a really good opinion and a funny person in our case. And so Pardon My Take became number one. And then, you know, Chiclets became number one and Foreplay rose to the top and the Dave Portnoy show. And we started to be a top 5 player and start to take airtime, take interest, take attention away from the establishment. And the establishment doesn't like that, obviously. So then it only compounded the notion that we were, you know, we were disruptive or we were renegade in how we were doing things, and that we were just not going to be accepted. So I remember, the Chernin guys who were invested in us originally when I got here wanted us to get on television. They're like, you really need to get on television. So I spent a year trying to get us on television. We got on television twice. Both of them were canceled like fairly instantly.
The ESPN one?
ESPN and then Comedy Central, which was a great experience. Comedy Central more so than ESPN. But the realization there.
It's crazy you get canceled from Comedy Central.
Yeah, we had a pilot. We had like a 4-night pilot at the Super Bowl in Houston. And then they just didn't renew it. Yeah, they didn't want to do it. They're so stupid.
That's wild.
Trended, crazy high ratings. But the reality is that when a traditional media brand has a shield, in my opinion, when they have the brand, things that are disruptive or counter to that brand are not often welcome in that environment, right? That's why, Mcafee, if Mcafee were to go have a show on TV, it would be a really different show than what you see on YouTube, because he would have to conform. When you look at, even when you looked at Van Talk, right? Like who PFT and Dan were on ESPN is a very washed version of, and they worked so hard to stay authentic, but it's just a muted version of who you can be on the internet.
Right.
And so, I felt like I had a choice of like, do I just go triple down and build this thing as big as it can be and be as formidable as we can make it? Or do I try to cater to somebody trying to accept, acceptance essentially? And we were just never going to get accepted. So I think the narrative of like misogyny and bro culture and, I think that's just convenient. I think it's puttered around by people who really don't care to listen to any of our shows or watch any of our shows or follow any of our personalities or see why our business is so radical. It's just a convenient thing to say because it's been in a bunch of headlines and it tries to keep us in the box.
What is bro culture?
I think bro culture is like white guys, right?
Bros.
Does it have to be white guys?
Yeah, I think bro means white guy.
People would for sure throw us in that box.
100. This box.
People that don't.
Like,
You know what I mean? People that.
I'm trying to wonder what's wrong with it.
Well, that's the question.
Can't please them all.
Can't please them all, boss.
Please them all, boss.
Yeah, right.
I'm thinking like, oh, that's a bad deal. I get the misogyny thing, but the bro culture,
Yeah.
you're just hitting a demographic.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want us to do?
I think it's outstanding that you went through those avenues and found out like, okay, TV's not for us.
It's not
Okay,
for us.
mainstream's not for us. Like all that shit. Because like at the end of the day, like authenticity is going to prevail over all this stuff. Like when we used to watch
Always.
TV, when growing up, we would see like, the NBCs, the CNNs, the Foxes, like all this suit buttoned up type of style, and that's like going out the window now.
You don't want to
It's
hear
turning
from
in the wrong
a
direction.
guy behind a desk in an outfit that you don't recognize.
There's a reason why in the last 5 years, Barstool's now has 300 employees, and I think ESPN, they fired over 100.
And they're not if you look at MTV, right? Like I'm like an MTV kid. I grew
Love
up on
MTV.
MTV. If you go look at the programming guide for MTV right now, they run ridiculousness
All fucking day.
16 hours a day.
Yeah. What are
Which is crazy because what their programs were when I was growing up would be killing it now.
It's so
The
radical.
Jackass, the CKY, the show where you like put 3 guys in a bus and then
Yes,
That
all of
show
it.
was fucking awesome. If you had shows like that now, holy shit, dude. Room Raiders?
Yeah.
Yes, dude. Room Raiders was fucking unreal. You do that and the girl just picks between 3 guys
That's
based on what
right.
their room looks like.
Yeah.
Like, that's love for sure. Go and flush that down the toilet. That's fucking unbelievable. You put that out there now, you wouldn't have to run ridiculous.
That's right.
Because that's like the only.
But they don't know how to produce it for the internet because it's like, it's television.
Yeah, I guess.
But you're exactly right. Like MTV was so radical and music videos were so radical. And then the reality piece of it
so
was
rad.
amazing.
yeah?
It would be so killer right now.
What
Cribs.
Cribs?
Just still thinking of shows.
when you first got the Barstool and you leaned into where Part of My Take went to the top, Spin Chickles went to the top, Foreplay, what were things you implemented when you got there that kind of grew you guys into what you are now? Because obviously if you started out kind of with a crew like this, you come in as the new bigwig CEO, just beat out all these dudes. Like what were things that you implemented right away that kind of sparked it?
when I got there, we had the Kevin Clancy show. Pardon My Take probably had 1 or 2 episodes. Dave had probably a handful of episodes on his show. I wanted to see us get beyond the blog. The majority of Barstool in 2016 was a blog. Like they were bloggers. They blogged every 30 minutes. That's what these guys knew how to do. They wrote. But what was happening at the time was like podcasting was just beginning and it wasn't expensive, right? I didn't have much money here. Like we didn't have a huge production budget. We didn't have sets. Like we were like spending all the company's money on opening an office and getting everyone to New York. And my thing, Live was starting. So Facebook Live had just launched or was about to launch, and Twitter had bought Periscope. And my thing was like, just turn the camera on these guys. If we can just turn the camera on and get to video, then we have audio and video and we have written content. And can we figure out, no one would ever give Barstool a chance. Most media companies are built on some type of distribution. Cable television, broadcast television, newspaper, right? Magazines. Our distribution is the internet and social media. And so we just started to have eyes only for that because no one was going to ever come give us a leg up and give us their distribution. That's why I wanted television. I was like, I'll take your eyeballs.
Yeah.
I can give them shit that they want to watch.
Right.
We'll take your eyeballs. And then they're like, we're not giving you our eyeballs. And I was like, all right, well, Instagram lets anybody take eyeballs. So I'll just go be great at Instagram.
Yeah.
So it was all about like, how do we start doing more stuff in more places and then protecting them? Like protecting them at all costs. Like I kept the business really far away from our creative people because every company that I'd ever been at, when you kind of fuck up the content with the sales stuff, it ruins the rawness. It ruins what made the content great. So I just tried to protect them.
Was it difficult or was there a learning curve when you first came in and you're around these guys, you're around these dudes who are like making content and everything else, seeing you as like the decision maker? And not necessarily a decision maker because you guys worked as a team, but you coming in and giving your input.
They were so good. Like Barstool's the least sexist company I've ever worked for. Like there were like, I worked for Yahoo, I worked for AOL, I worked for Microsoft, like huge amount of sexism, a lot of bias. Like these guys.
I'm telling you, I'm fucking telling you.
You just got to deal with the adversity when you're on the bus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
It's
like,
just a little bit.
grit.
You just got to deal with it.
No, they were really good to me. They were just from the jump. I don't think they cared. Like it's a nice thing about Barstool is like, just nobody cares. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just nobody cares.
But business wise, like decisions you're wanting to make.
Yeah. Dave was awesome. Most times if you go to a startup and you have an external person come in, that person, the founder is like, oh, wait, that's my job. Or, I want to control that. I want to make all the decisions. Dave did not want to. And yet I wanted Dave part of most every decision because I really value what Dave has to say. And so we had a good thing going.
Yeah, Dave's definitely crushing it. It's 10:18.
Oh, it is?
Just to keep you posted.
Can you throw that thing up? Working with Dave. What is it like working with Dave, and how is it I guess changed, and more so over the last couple of years? Because again, you guys are growing at a huge rate. You the whole corporate-ish like core value thing. Obviously, you guys stick to who you are and what you know. But like your guys' relationship throughout these past couple of years, especially like when people try and cancel you guys all the time.
Yeah.
Like, what's it like
Dave's
working
awesome.
with Dave?
I love working with Dave. I think Dave's probably the smartest person I've ever met. Like Dave is so smart.
Damn, like that?
Yeah. How so?
So he's just.
He's a smart ass dude, but
he's
the
so
smartest
smart.
person you've ever met.
Content wise, he's a genius.
Got you.
He's a genius.
Like, is there something that the world doesn't see behind closed doors when he's talking with you in those rooms?
No, I think the world sees it. Like it's in some ways so obvious and or basic, yet it's brilliant. Pizza reviews. Like that's not a radical concept, but the way he does pizza reviews, look at how big that brand has gotten.
Oh, it's wild.
Like it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
He has his own pizza now.
He's just his own propulsion. You know what I mean? So, in the beginning, it was, it was tough. Like it was, we didn't have a P&L. Like no one lived in New York. We were trying to build an office and open an office and hire people and fire people and go through like making a company out of Barstool. And, now we have different problems, right? Like, how do we work with Penn? What do we want to be when we grow up? How do we motivate people? So I would say, like, I just would say our partnership is pretty collaborative. Like, he knows what he knows what he knows, and he does what he does, and I know what I know, and I do what I do. And we stay in pretty close contact on all of it. Shorthand mostly.
Yeah. What do you guys want to be when you grow up?
I don't know.
Like with Penn, what's the future with Penn look like?
I mean, Penn's interesting. I think the media business is going to be the most interesting part of Penn. Like, when you think about how big all these brands are, and how many products you can create from them, or how many shows or formats you can create with them. I mean, we have 64 brands. That's a lot of brands. Like, you look at the size and valuation of Viacom or Discovery or Disney. Like, are we Disney for bros? You know what I mean? Or what's the
Disney
chick
for
version of
bros?
bros? You know what I mean? Like girls,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Young people on the internet. So it's like, could we build something really big there?
Yeah.
And how can Penn, how do we get more people to obviously want to know how to bet, be confident to bet, or excited about betting? That's important to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about betting.
You're not a betting guy?
I've never really done it because
Yeah.
when you play
Be a
football,
kid.
I know
Yeah.
we're not able
it's
to.
one of those things like you're never really allowed to even jump
Yeah.
into. Calvin Ridley,
Yeah,
Yeah.
prime
spent it for the
example.
whole
Yeah,
2022
100%.
season.
Missing an $11 million
$1,500.
contract for
$1,500.
insane.
Fucking wild. But yeah, that's something that when I'm done, I want to learn how to do.
Yeah.
I want to know the ins and outs of.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we
It's-
talk about all the time. Like that's where all this is going. That's where the money is.
Yeah.
That's where all that stuff.
The big talent contracts
Mhm.
right now are not coming from media companies. They're coming from the sports betting companies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, explain that, because just on the outside looking in, FanDuel spends all this fucking money.
Totally.
DraftKings, WinBet, MGM, all this stuff.
Yeah.
All
And there's
these
also
guys.
the sports book and Penn.
Yeah.
But you guys, maybe it's because I follow you guys and I'm just aware that you guys do the Barstool Sportsbook. But from an advertising standpoint, it looks like you guys aren't all these things the way FanDuel and everything else is, as far as like the prime sponsor, I guess.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I mean,
they
we
seem
used
way
to
more
be.
mainstream.
We used to be. Now we just talk about our bets, and we bet obviously in the sports book.
How do you guys stack up to the
We're
competition?
like a top 3 player. But when you look at it, like if you look at a FanDuel and a DraftKings, they spend their marketing budgets are insane, like $300 million in like an insane amount of money. Billions and billions and billions of dollars are spent on advertising. What those guys are figuring out is that the television doesn't convert very well, or it doesn't convert the way a personality converts, the way a Barstool would convert, or a Dave would convert, or
Mhm.
Dan, or you guys if you bet, or Mcafee. And so they're moving their money into those guys. So when you look at where FanDuel's marketing dollars are going to go, they're going to go to personalities. And that's why, and if betting's just a front runner, all businesses will move that way. You
Yeah.
look at packaged goods, you look at travel and leisure, you look at automotive, you look at Chevy. Chevy wants 20 somethings to buy trucks.
Right.
You are a killer platform for them.
Yeah. We do if we kill it. for
Lunch
sure.
pail motherfuckers, dude.
Yeah. No doubt.
Lunch pail motherfuckers. All right, boys. You guys have probably heard a lot about Let me start that again.
No, it's okay.
I know I'm gonna get through this.
But we're gonna ride this
You guys
together.
have probably heard about Revitalyte a lot by now. You know the drill. It is the adult version of a certain drink you find in the baby aisle at your local stores, Walgreens, Walmart, all that fun stuff. They took away the embarrassment we meet at the register by putting their brand in places where you can now buy beer, wine, and liquor across the nation to make your weekend shopping even easier. And you can even get it done on the Barstool Store now. Well, the boys at Revitalyte are taking things to the next level and teamed up with us to create the ultimate way to save yourself a rough morning after. Thank God we had these in Nebraska, because that morning after was a little rough. Revitalyte Black Label, made specifically with the stoolies and the boys in mind for maximum recovery and the perfect complement for when your life gets a little rough and rowdy in those mornings after. Don't pay for Saturday nights or Sunday morning. Revitalyte
Don't
Black.
pay for Saturday nights on Sunday morning.
Don't pay for Saturday nights on Sunday morning.
It's worth saying 3
Shout
times.
out the boy.
It's worth saying.
Revitalyte Black Label pairs perfectly with nightcaps and midnight snacks. Your nightstand will feel naked, scared, and afraid without Revitalyte, so stock up quickly. Pro tip, Drink half at night and the other half in the morning for the most optimal results. Pick up your Revitalyte Black Label today in store or online at the Barstool Store and tweet at us or tag at Drink Revitalyte in your morning after stories. Please do that. Shout out to the boys. And as always, big hugs, tiny kisses.
Are you excited about your tour?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Fun.
I did get the boys were filling me in on the weather in Nebraska for this week. I'm a little disappointed in
0 degrees. We're looking at snow.
Shit, in March? That sucks.
And I'm sitting back like, fuck, yeah, it is kind of like that out there.
You kind of forget, right?
Yeah.
Going to Michigan, like I kind of forget what the weather's like out there too.
Cold.
You think the summer's like, oh, the summers are beautiful.
Michigan's like balmy compared to Nebraska, isn't
What does
it?
balmy mean?
Yeah, what does that
Warm?
mean?
Like,
Oh, I wish.
temperate?
You'd think because
I've never really been to Michigan
geographically
like
it's
that.
a little more north. What's that?
Yeah, I've never even really been to Michigan like that.
Oh, you're going to have a blast. You're going to love it.
I
You're gonna
can't
love
wait. I can't
Oh,
wait.
it's an outstanding time.
Can't wait for you to show
Nebraska,
me around.
though, like people make fun of Nebraska because there's literally nothing there. Like people like
Very flat.
More cows
very
than
flat.
people.
Very
more
flat.
cows than people. So I'm excited to see what Nebraska has to offer.
You-
Because if you want a kid to come there, a 5-star athlete to go to
Yeah.
Nebraska,
How are they recruiting you?
you gotta
Chicks.
but not really, right? Like
I
you
don't know.
think,
Wholesome, homegrown,
yeah, no doubt, homegrown. Talking about
some
the
corn-fed.
sturdiness of the
corn-fed
country
beauties,
right
dude.
there, dude. Some sturdy broads.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just excited because they have such a historic program.
Yeah.
The last thing they won as a national championship was when? Don't say 97.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
But no, Michigan won in 97.
We both won in 97.
But I would say that like if
Shit, don't say
these
97.
story programs like Nebraska's, they didn't have the best year, best 3-9 team in the whole entire
Of all time.
Of all time.
Of all time.
Like not
Let's
even
just make
touching
it
them.
what it is.
And Michigan had a big up year, but like there's more to Michigan as far as like to see and do, and like
Yeah.
Ann Arbor is an amazing
Michigan's
town.
got a good brand.
God, but does it ever? And so, but I think Michigan can do a lot of things that you're talking about that Barstool's doing.
Mhm.
Not exactly the same way, but kind of like be a little more progressive about the stuff they do.
I agree.
Because everything's so traditional with them.
Mhm.
And it's like, if you would just like, hey, unbutton the suit tie,
Yeah, like,
unbutton the
ease up.
suit collar just a little bit.
I
And
think
let us
that
get in
schools
there.
are like that
Let
in
us
general.
get in there.
I'm actually more and more disappointed with
You'd think
academia.
like if I'm ASU, if I'm an AD at ASU, I'm like, I'm getting every 5-star athlete. I didn't go there because there was too many pretty girls.
You're
That's
like,
literally
it's
the main
overwhelming.
reason why I did not go to Arizona State University. And if you're Arizona State, it's like you have amazing weather. It's always sunny out.
Mhm.
There's people that are living their best lives. Everyone's in shape because you got to be in
Yep.
shape to
Yeah,
be in
you're
Arizona.
outside all day.
Yeah, well, you're not wearing a sweater. You can't
Yep.
hide that thing.
Yeah.
You go up north, you can have that real
Many
thick
layers.
coat
You gotta
on.
have a
You know what I'm
flannel
saying?
shirt on there.
Exactly. You got to wear long
Yeah.
everything.
What is the Nebraska recruiting plan?
Facilities.
Yeah, but Alabama's got that.
The-
Michigan's got that. USC's
For sure.
got that.
For sure. I think that's the hard part for Nebraska now is like back in the 90s and back in the old days,
They have
like
such a big
th-
brand.
they were winning. They were the ones on TV because not a lot of games were televised.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I was getting recruited, the whole stitch was like, if we can just get recruits to come out here and see that it's more than Nebraska, the cornfields and stuff like that. Usually guys would commit because we have great facilities, but now everyone's able to build these facilities. So they're going to have to go above and beyond where I think Nebraska can compete is the whole new NIL layout because there's a lot of money. There's a lot of boosters. There's a lot of,
They
stuff
roll
that-
deep.
yeah, Nebraska will do a lot to
So
try
Nebraska
and win.
will be more aggressive in letting players make their own money.
I think so. Or I
That would
think
be
people
smart.
come
They
into
should be.
That would be
That'd be
smart.
a genius
That would be
way to
yeah,
go
you're
about it.
essentially looking at free agency now with these college athletes.
Definitely.
Mhm.
And so,
Are
just
you pissed that you guys didn't have NIL?
I don't think
Not necessarily. No, because look at the position we're in right now.
It worked out.
yeah,
God, it did it ever.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't think I would really care about the NIL thing.
Yeah.
Like, I was cleared for Pell Grant and I still didn't file for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind
Pell
of
Grant
I
was
was kind of
big
just
time.
living.
You were
Yeah.
big
In college,
time.
you're kind of just like
Grant.
living,
Yeah,
and
you're
it's like
like-
I don't really know.
Yeah, sure.
You're chasing the NFL anyway. It's like, I
Yeah.
want to do this.
Because even back then, like if we would have had NIL, then that means we would have had social media.
Yeah.
Well, we did, but we were more in the incubator
Yeah.
stages of
Yep.
those.
Yep.
But we would have had social media coming out in high school,
Yeah.
and we would probably just saw shit differently because
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
right.
kids are now.
That's right.
No,
I
yeah,
got you.
definitely. This is the place you want to be for sure. Through all that bullshit, college is the fucking wild west.
It is.
of sports for real.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you
gonna
kinda
get it's
just-
gonna get nuts, man. Like again, you're opening up a Pandora's box of all this
Mhm.
money flowing around, and I still think like the big dogs are gonna still reign supreme because they're gonna find ways to.
Well,
these
they're not
kids are
going to
gonna
want
make a lot of
NCAA
money.
and the universities don't want the money to go to the athletes.
Right.
The money goes to them.
Yeah, but I think Now, I don't know if you've heard this too, but the SEC is kind of like making them their own super conference. It's going to try to get away from the NCAA,
Mhm.
the SEC.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's going
Now,
to
if
be
you take the SEC, you take NCAA out of it, like talk about a monopoly.
Oh, insane.
Like they have, it's ridiculous.
Greatest business of all time.
It really is. It's so smart.
Great business.
We're using these kids.
Yeah. Here's what we're going to do.
Because that's unfair.
Here's what we're going to do. It's illegal for them to get paid.
Right.
So we're just going to keep all the money.
Yeah.
It is
and control all the rights.
Right.
Genius.
Super genius.
Kids are figuring it out more and more, though.
Definitely.
I mean, guys staying out of bowl games and doing this and that, and coaches like, because the universities will make the money, right? And they'll pay and do all the incentivize the coaches and this and that, and coaches can stand up there. You know, it's the best thing if they're about the team and they stay for the team. But then, you know, what's his name from Notre Dame goes and takes that job at LSU.
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly. He's kind of out in front showing like, yo, these coaches, everyone's in it for themselves.
Everybody's out for themselves.
Yeah, and what a fucking weird approach that guy had when he first got to LSU. Like pretending to have a Southern accent. When he's from Boston.
Bro.
Yeah. And then like he did a great pivot by making fun of himself on it on like a basketball game. But like someone had to, when he was in the mirror going, y'all, all right, y'all do
We're going to have a great time down here at LSU.
Yeah.
If someone would have been like, hey, Brian, probably don't.
Yeah, like,
right? Like you've been in Notre Dame for the past 10 years. Like
no
everyone knows
this shit, dude.
No, it's gonna be like you just walk through like the swamp.
Yeah.
We're like, I'm here now.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Yeah. Come
What
straight
a
out of the
fucking,
bayou.
what a hilarious thing. But I also love that he just tried it. I fucking love the fact that he was just like,
true.
all right, we're gonna give it a go.
That's true.
But I think that might take away from sports a little bit, like the camaraderie of the boys, because it's teaching you that business earlier.
Yeah, because the camaraderie is good in our locker rooms, but it's not the same as when we were back in college. And
Because of social media?
No, I just think
not because of social media, just because you're in the real world while playing sports.
Yeah.
Like in college, everyone's on the same playing field.
Yeah.
We're all going to class. We're all working out at 6 a.m.
You're in the system.
Yeah, we're all boozing
together.
on Fridays
No
together and trying to
kids.
figure out the weekend.
No
No
wives.
kids. Yeah. You get to the NFL, like when I was a rookie, I'm playing with dudes that are 33 years old, and I'm 21. I got drafted at 21 years old, and you're like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
These guys have 4 kids at home, and I'm like, damn.
Yes.
You know, you're not living the same
You're not
life.
living the same life.
Yeah, so it's way more spread out.
And it's a
For
job.
obvious reasons. Yeah, it's a job for sure. That thing needs to lighten up too, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
Just the whole process of the NFL is they just needs to lighten the fuck up.
we're at like 10:30, 10:32.
right.
10:30. You got anything else?
no. What else?
Alex, you got anything?
All right. What do you think about the metaverse?
No, don't let that go, boss. She's a boss, man. She knows how to flip it.
Are you in the metaverse?
No, I'm not. I just been watching like a few things on it. So I mean, it seems like that's obviously where we're transitioning to is like the VR world. So with this being like a big brand and being usually in front of everything, I was just curious if there was
I'm
a plan
excited
for
about the metaverse.
The way you guys,
Hey, yo, you just bounced around that fucker like
I did.
a.
I'll tell you what,
she's a
so
pro.
I don't think that we. So NFL's actually decent, oddly, in the metaverse.
They have a metaverse platform?
They have a whole metaverse strategy.
The NFT
Yeah.
stuff going on, yeah.
The NFTs.
'Cause you guys were ahead.
Roblox.
You guys were before everybody else with the internet. You understood what it was going to look like, what it
We
could be.
understand how to work it in somebody else's system. Where we have to figure out the metaverse is like Roblox. Like, do you guys know Roblox? Roblox is fucking insane. You should go look at
Roblox?
Roblox.
Roblox.
ROBOLOX.
Okay, Roblox.
Genius company.
Really?
Okay.
So what Roblox has done is Roblox has like thousands and thousands and thousands of games.
Mm-hmm.
And each game is a world, right? So there's Bloxburg, where it's like you have your own house and you have a job and you have a car and you can meet your friends in the game, right?
Get him off the screen.
All right, so that's Roblox. So there's thousands of worlds in Roblox. Roblox enables kids to develop their own games. So they're developing new worlds for free.
Oh, that's rad.
Okay. And then imagine Barstool you have a Bussin t-shirt in there, or you're on the bus, right? The
Right.
bus is in a game, or one of the games is a pizza shop, right? So what's one bite in the pizza shop? So
Mhm.
that's what we're thinking about now. I don't know in terms of what Facebook will be. I think they have something called Horizon. somebody from Facebook asked if I wanted to have a meeting in the metaverse, and I was like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was kind of excited to see, like being courtside, like at games and stuff like that, like if there was a way to incorporate like fans of the podcast and bringing people into the bus through VR, I
Definitely.
think would be a pretty cool
You just
thing.
want it to scale. Like, so I think there's a couple, like there's the blockchain, right? So like the blockchain is going to be its own thing where you buy something, you buy a Bussin sweatshirt or you buy Whistle Pig and your receipt can be an NFT, right? And
Right.
then there's a brand around the receipt or around the item you purchase. So everything that exists physically will exist in a virtual world and will be uniquely identifiable on the blockchain and will be uniquely monetizable. So that's one piece of it. Then the second piece of it is like, do you create the virtual bus and people come in here and hang out? Definitely. But you want it to scale. Like that's our thing is we're not going to go build a world that nobody goes to. Like I want to be in the biggest worlds in the like with the rowdiest bunch of people.
Right.
And so that's what we still have to figure out. We haven't figured that out
Yeah.
yet.
It's so fresh and new too.
It's so new.
It's going to fail and then it's going to be brought back up
Yeah,
just like
now
the
it's
internet
like
was in the
cool
beginning.
kids are doing it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's like
Yeah, people who think they're
it's a
super
little
progressive.
fatty.
Yeah.
Fatty. It's like it's a not
Yeah.
that it's going away, but it's like
No, but it's in a
it's like whose dick is bigger in the internet. You know what I mean? And it's like, why don't we let them play that and then we'll figure out what business
Right.
we do.
kind of like NFTs too. I mean, the whole all of it. All of it. It just seems like
Are you
it's
an
like
NFT guy?
no.
Yeah, no.
I'm not in it. I don't understand it enough. Like this company asked me, it's called Meta Wolves. They asked me to do something with them. And I said, yeah. And they said they'd give me some NFTs. So I posted a couple things. So I have NFTs
Yeah.
now. But like, what do I do with it?
Yeah, that's
How does
right.
it work? I kind of just hold on to it like a
Yeah.
stock at this
Yeah,
point.
that's right.
But hey,
It will become, look, when it be, you know, it's like the Gronk has his NFTs, right? And it's all going to be about it's all about NIL. It's NIL for grownups on the blockchain.
Yeah.
That's how I would think about it. You're going to have 50 pictures of the bus. 2 of them are going to be gold plated.
Yeah.
And there'll be value. There's an economy around
we
it.
should go play the bus in real life too. That'd be badass.
Like give the bus a grill. The bus should have a grill.
Yeah, it does technically have a grill,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, a lot of different.
But a
a gold
gold
grill.
one.
Yeah, a gold one would be sick.
Diamonds.
Ooh,
Yeah.
they're forever.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been awesome.